I will only set you up for success. Okay.
Oh, you heard that, ladies and gentlemen. He's only going to set me up for success. I think this means we've started the show now. Welcome back to the Nick and Randy show.
No.
This is
no.
Yes.
No.
This is the Nick and Randy show.
No.
Everyone else is wrong about this.
No. It the YouTube channel says otherwise. The channel name.
Read my lips.
No
more taxes.
I love it. I legit am struggling to be like, is this actually working? Because it's been over a year, hasn't it, since we? Yeah.
It's a little weird talking to you, mostly because I hate talking to you.
No, that's the other personas we put on that.
No personas. I love you, man. I missed you. Congrats, you're dad now. What the heck?
Oh my God.
Wow. Come on, you're a father. Now you are the daddy. How's that going?
Last time we did an episode, I don't even think we were pregnant.
I don't think so.
So much has happened. Like what a lap of time lapse that has happened there. I am a dad, man. This is crazy. Unlike the other, I feel weird because I'm saying welcome back to the Taylor wrong podcast.
Wrong podcast.
Unlike everything else, I have to assume that anybody who listens to this already knows at least one of us. So there's no preliminary background info to dive into. But can I even show it on camera? Oh, it's actually hidden quite well. Sage loves to throw up on me.
Daddy lines.
Yeah, dude, yeah. I'm a dad, man. This is the weirdest.
You got a dad bod now. You are a dad.
I can earn my dad bod now. I
love it.
I'm completely. My whole world changed, dude. It's completely not backwards. It's just. It's different. Things are in one sense. Everything is so much clearer about what I need to do about my vision of life or my purpose in life.
Yeah.
And another part of it is like to contradict that. I'm like, what am I supposed to do now? Like,
you have arrived.
I'm there, but it's because I know people who are parents who fall victim to that identity. They're like, all they know how to be is a parent, and they kind of forgot who they are. I am so steadfast, dead set, making sure that doesn't happen to me. I stay true to who I am. So since Sage's birth, I have continued to work on music. I have continued to write. I have continued to do the podcast and stay in contact with people. I may or may not have talked to you a couple times completely off.
So. Maybe there is a rumor going around that we talk when we're not recording, which is kind of shocking. I know. Some people don't quite understand that.
You like how Drew saw the group chat and he was like,
yes.
A club. I'm not it.
Oh yeah. So the reason why this podcast is happening is because I was listening to the tech podcast, which I've been kicked off of. They fired me. Okay, I'm being held hostage, ladies and gentlemen. Please help me. No, that's all a joke. I've stepped away. I've been told I have an invite back, and so I will have to exercise that one of these days.
You absolutely do. Wait, okay. Before you tell me about that, I just want to. For 1 second, I want to break the illusion and just address anybody who's listening to this, so they can hear it from me and from the source you. Yes. Nick has never, will never, and can't be fired, so to say. Friends support friends' dreams, and if that means sometimes you got to step away for however long that takes, then that's what you got to do. But, like, in my eyes, and I mean, maybe I'm wrong. But in my eyes, there would have never been, and there is no podcast without you, because you laid that foundation. You set it up to be successful, and now that it's thriving, you did a very mature thing about stepping back and stepping away for a little bit, and it's people like, oh, they they did him wrong and blah 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 blah. And absolutely not. Like it would have never even been close to what it is. There is, to me, there is no podcast without you. Not to say that obviously the show still goes on. I like the dynamic that I've cultivated with Drew and Mike. You know, those are two of my closest buds as well. I love talking to them, but credit where credit is due. Like you're the standard.
I am the puppet
like,
master.
You're the that was the title I gave you for going indie. You're the puppeteer. There is none of it would have existed without you. So in a professional sense, like I'll follow you to the end of whatever endeavors you ever try to do, because you are a visionary with what you can see and finding a way to make it execute. You haven't seemed to be stopped yet. And then on a personal level, I mean, you're closer than blood to me, so obviously, so,
right back at you, buddy. I'm about to cry over here.
I know.
I'm wearing the
with that,
sunglasses, so you can't see.
With that, go ahead, and you were listening to the Tech Podcast.
Yeah.
He's still a listener, guys. Okay, I'm done talking to them. I'm talking to you.
You guys think I can? No, I still listen to the show. Not every week, but when there's an interesting topic, and I was like, 12-inch MacBooks, 15-inch MacBooks.
You inspired me, Nick.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I got to listen to this episode. And I was just listening to my buddies talk, and I'm like, dang it, I missed it. And it's a little hard to line up all the schedules. Like, I'm literally talking on top of a roof as I stepped away from actually doing my day job.
Beautiful view. I love the clouds
I was
moving.
going to say, like, this is beautiful. I'm glad I had this lens on me, and this is working out just fine, I hope. We'll see how it looks in post. But yeah, so I was... and Randy obviously is a dad now, so we have nap times to worry about, and his nap times. It's not just his kid that takes a nap.
You texted me 2 days ago, and you're like, "Hey, if you got an hour of time, call me, an hour to put aside." And you had said that right as I put Sage down, and then I went to sleep. I was like, "I gotta take a nap." You're right about the timing. Like, obviously, I will speak. I speak for everybody. That we would love to have you back whenever you're available. But the timing is so hard, and it's not getting any easier. This week, every single week, I think, if not, it's about to happen again. We have to record at a different day on a different time, even if it's on the same day. We don't do weekends anymore for now. That will eventually have to change. There's so much logistical movement happening in the background that I'm shocked that we were able to keep any of it still going. So it's not a you thing. It's a life thing. Like, you're obviously, so you're busy with everything that you're doing. I'm busy now with the family stuff, and I got so much travel on the books before Brittany has to go back to work, and that becomes harder to plan. So we're working around that. It's mainly family travel. Actually, it's 100% family travel. So we have that working around. But then, like everybody else too, we're all. It's just that time in our lives that we hit those periods where we're kind of busy, which I actually support. Like, I wanted you to go document.
You did. You were the. My mother still doesn't believe in my dreams, so well,
I love it.
You've been believing in me for longer than most people, Randy, and I truly appreciate that. And
I will always believe in you.
Aw, right back at you. But doing all this is not easy, and it takes a special kind of crazy. But thankfully, we are the crazy ones, and making it work.
Does the round pegs in a square hole? No, square pegs in a round hole.
We are the crazy ones.
Because those who thinks are crazy enough to change the world are the ones who do. Yeah.
This January, see why Apple Computer will make 1984 not like 1984.
I love that you and I can talk tech, but then like we
This is literally what our FaceTime calls are like. This is just it's in Discord though. What the? You need to give me your Apple Sheep card, mister. You switch to Discord. I was getting all set up for a FaceTime call, and Randy's like, can we do Discord? I'm like, brah. What is this? Are we Android users now? What the heck?
It doesn't. It doesn't communicate well with OBS. I don't know why it doesn't.
I understand the technical.
That was an issue. If you remember, it might have been so long.
Come on,
it was
Timmy
a whole
boy.
nother life ago.
That's why I left. That's why I left. Was the Discord?
You were having audio issues with me using FaceTime in the
Yep.
past, where you'd be like, "Hey, you're really quiet," and
Yep.
that was because FaceTime and Discord or FaceTime and OBS just don't communicate well. So this was our circumvention. Anyway, enough about the technical stuff. First of all, love your view. What have you people? Even if they don't know, like I don't got as much of exciting update. What have you been up to? What are you doing? What's life like?
It's a good question. I don't really even know where to start because so many things have changed.
Tell
I
me.
guess we just start from the beginning. I work for NASAspaceflight.com. I am a photojournalist recording stuff at Starbase. That is only what I tell people I do. What I really do is I sit on the beach and watch other people work, which is, kind of fun. I document what
awkward.
SpaceX is doing at Starbase in Texas, and it's a little much. I've always been a workaholic. People who have been longtime listeners of this show know that I'm a bit of a workaholic and always super excited and passionate about whatever the project of the week is. And this has been a year and a half long project of the week. So I've been putting everything I got into this. Hopefully we're coming up on an orbital test flight sometime soon, hopefully. And hopefully after that I'll have a little bit of time to breathe. But I've just been putting everything I got into this, and it's been a lot.
Are you married? Do you have kids yet? What's going on in your life?
Yes, I'm actually married. I have 7 kids. I beat you to it, Randy.
I knew it.
I'm glad I inspired you. No. I don't got time to cook dinner, much less find a girl. So yeah.
They'll come to you.
There's been zero.
If you build it, they will come.
Yep. So
Nick,
still single and ready to mingle. If you know what I'm saying.
That's okay. I know what you're saying. Are you how's your how's like your I know what I want to ask, but I don't want it to ask it in the wrong way. So I'm going to make a statement. Maybe my question will be in there.
Okay.
Your life has been very your life down in Texas has been very like it
chaotic.
Whatever happens. No, if that's what you subscribe to that word, I wouldn't say chaotic. I'd just be like you have to be very like on the ready, on the nose to go at very random times.
Yep.
Your lifestyle is more in the moment that you can't plan like maybe 6 months out or 3 months. Like that's not how the style
can't
is
plan
for you.
6 hours out, man.
So. How does that translate into the time when you're not working? Like, are you thinking about like staying down there long term, or are you just gonna go where the work goes? Like, you've been acclimated to the swampy Gulf Coast now, I'm sure. So
it's February. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. It's 80 degrees. There's a beach right next to me. Like, I can't top this, man. I can't. All you northern people, I got some snow today. I'm like, yeah. What's that like? It's too pretty.
It's 61 degrees and it's nice. So you can't really tell because there's a little bit of blowout happening, but it's a little cloudy. Not like you though. You got moving clouds. Mine's overcast, but no snow. It's nice outside today. But anyways, yeah. So like, do you think that's a place you kind of want to stay, or how do you feel?
I don't know, honestly. It's there's about 800 different ways my life could go. Right. I've put a lot of work into this, and I've kind of become the guy down here for Orbital. Me and a couple other people that I work really closely with have put a lot of time and effort into being the guys down here for this orbital flight. And that's taken a lot of time and effort and dedication to get that like street cred or whatever, to where people come to us asking us questions on what to do or what not to do, or how to work stuff or build stuff out for them or whatever. So there's an aspect to where like I feel like I'm the big fish in a really small pond right now, which is kind of cool, because being a big fish is always fun. But my pond is very small, and I wouldn't be surprised if one of these days I make it into a bigger pond and have to work my way up from tadpole sized up to not tadpole sized. So I invite the challenge, and I enjoy the exciting challenge of starting afresh and wanting to try something new. To be completely honest, I have to invent ways to keep myself busy and occupied mentally, because at the end of the day, if I was just taking pictures down here, I would have burnt out a long time ago, because
Yeah.
you can only take the same 8 pictures from the same 8 angles so many times, and obviously there's more than 8 pictures and 8 angles to be had down here. But yeah, at some point, I think about a year ago or so, after I'd been down here for a half a year, a little over a half a year, I guess. Yeah, around last February, it was kind of starting to get a little like, okay, I've taken this picture before. Good thing the sunset's different and the lighting's different and the clouds look different, or whatever. Sometimes the ships move around or whatever, and that always is some exciting stuff. But yeah, it's kind of difficult sometimes to keep that all going, and keeping
Yeah.
at least my mental state interested. So there's that aspect of it, and then there's also the aspect of just like, I don't know what I want out of life, right? And I think what I'm doing right now is really exciting and really important, not just for me, but for history. Like from a historical perspective, I believe that what I'm doing is probably the most important thing that I could be doing, and it's kind of inspirational and humbling to look at these images and videos that I'm helping capture and create, and be like, wow, like these are going to end up in some big movies one day. Like when they make the documentary of how we got to Mars in 300 years, I hope my stuff will stand at least some of the test of time, and be out there for the world to enjoy. And that's kind of what I do every day, is just document stuff. At least, again, that's my persona. That's not really what I do every day. What I actually do every day is a bunch of random stuff. Like, for example, today I'm installing conduit on top of a building for reasons I can't say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just a bunch of really random stuff. Sometimes I'm out there, like, example, yesterday and the day before, I was building this little robot. We have a bunch of live streaming robots that are 24/7 like live streaming cameras, and I was rebuilding a whole new robot. So I was making a whole robot over the weekend, and I mean that's completely random, nothing to do with photography. And before that, I was mowing the lawn. Like, we have a bunch of sites that need to be mowed, and putting down weed killer, and moving rocks, and building towers, and installing internet connection dishes around, and dinking around with Starlinks. And it's just like I don't have a set routine or like anything that I really do as like my day job anymore. I still do take pictures and videos, but that is I have a coworker down here right now who's helping me out with the pictures and video side, so I can focus on some of these bigger projects as we're leading up to orbital. And so that's really good to be able to have that bit of freedom from having to do the daily grind or whatever, and just being able to do whatever the most important thing is and best use of my time, and try to make the most impact, because we're all looking at each other, and one of these days this big orbital flight's going to sneak up on us, because it's been a year and change away for so long. Like, it's always just been like, oh yeah, it'll at some point this flight is going to happen, and maybe we'll be ready for it. But like, it's starting to get real, and it's starting to get more real than it has ever been. Doesn't mean it's actually going to happen, but it's feeling more real than it ever has been, and that's kind of a little humbling to be like, okay, are we actually ready? Are all the systems ready to go? What do I need to do? What is the most important thing to do today? Because tomorrow's not guaranteed. And so that's just been a lot of trying to figure out what I need to be doing throughout the day, and that takes all my time. Like, I get up in the morning, I don't really eat breakfast or do anything, morning. I brush my teeth, put a clean shirt on, and run out the door. And I go out to work, and I work for NASA spaceflight. During the day, I put in, a good 8 or 12 hours a day with them. And then I go home and I work on some side projects that I got going on. You know me, Randy. I always have some side projects cooking.
Always.
And so those side projects are part of what also keeps me sane. As much as I love my day job and love working with NSF, and all the team members are awesome, and I have nothing but good things to say about them. Someone like myself needs to keep my brain occupied in keep me passionate about stuff, and being able to have the ability, the skills, the time ability, the motivation, and like the like historical push. Like, this stuff is historically important, so I'm going to push myself to do this, to work super late nights, building battery packs or, setting up networking gear or, dinking around with cameras or whatever. It's like this is the stuff that keeps me motivated and keeps me going. And to answer your question in the longest way possible, Randy, I don't know what I want to do after this because from where I'm sitting, this is the most exciting thing that I could be doing. A couple times I've fluttered with burnout around here. I know that's the bad word to say on the internet as a creator, but I have. There was a New Year. I took New Year's off. I went to California for a few days to visit family over New Year's. Like I was gone like 4 days, and when I got back on January 3rd, I went like I don't know, good month, over a month, like I don't know, maybe like 40 days or something without taking a single day off. And just being on call, that 24/7 on call, working every day. It definitely, you got to be doing it for the right reasons. And if you're not doing it for the right reasons, it's not going to work out. And so having this historical perspective to kind of keep me motivated and keep me going throughout the day, but then also just physically interesting things that I enjoy doing and I find mentally stimulating is kind of what keeps me going. But every time I flutter with burnout, I'm like, okay, Nick, world's your oyster. You figured this one out. Go do whatever the heck you want. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What industry do you want to go conquer? And I cannot for the life of me think of a more interesting thing to do. And that is really cool because all my life I've always had this dream job. Oh, I want to go work at Apple. Oh, I want to, be a big wig accountant at some big firm, or, oh, I want to do this or that. There was always something else that I wanted to do, and it's
you wanted to be a president.
Yeah, I wanted to be a president. I mean, remember that? Yeah, like that was the whole thing. So glad I'm not doing that. Wait, politics is fun these days. But yeah, it's just really humbling to be like, I am living my dream right now. Like I could not imagine a better thing for me to be doing right now. And it's cool, but it's also humbling because where do I go from here? I do not know. That's scary. So what should I be doing, Randy?
Figure it out.
Help me.
Yeah,
help me.
You'll figure it out. You should be coming with me and changing the world.
I'm tired of selling sugar water.
Wait, do you want to take?
It's so weird. Like, okay, so like we're talking about all these like Steve Jobs, isms. It's like, what's our favorite book? The Steve Jobs biography by Walter Isaacson. Like,
yep.
Walter's a huge fan of me. Like, he went out of his way to tell me that the other day, and it's just like, I it's so weird being in this position where like all these, get to talk with Elon, and like he likes my work, and like it's just like meet Kanye West, it's just like back before he got crazy. It's like just all of these really random things that like I couldn't have done if I was just sitting at home. And it took that big leap of faith, which you were encouraging me with, Randy, to step out into the unknown and to do that and to kind of live this insane life. Like every time I call home and talk with my mom, it's kind of like, hey, how are you doing? And they're doing the same 8 things that they were doing when I was there. And then I try to tell them what I'm doing, and it's like there's a little bit of a disconnect. Like I love my family. I'm sure my mom's listening to this because she does listen to these episodes. And I love you, Mom. But there's just this disconnect of like I'm trying to live my dream, and I don't know how to show you guys how much this means to me, And like this is and I know they're so supportive and they love me, and I'm never questioning that. But it's strange to feel so out of my element, but then I've made this my element, right? Like this is where I enjoy being. And every time I go home, like California was different because it was so quick, but I guess when was that? I guess it was last Christmas, so over a year ago. I went home for a week or a week and a half or something, back up to Missouri, and was hanging out with them. But after like 2 or 3 days, I was just getting like the shakes. Like I need to be going doing something. I need to. I'm just like I cannot just sit and rest anymore. Like
that's
dude,
fine.
Like yesterday was Sunday, and I was like supposed to be taking the day off because I'm supposed to have days off, but I don't ever take days off because it's like. Why would I sit around and do nothing when I could go do something actually important and move the ball forward and help us record this life, this humanity-changing event in a better way than was possible? And I don't know. It's humbling, but yet really exciting to do what I do. And so
I tell you,
I don't know.
The reason why I pushed you to go try this out is
Mhm.
because you were lined up in a way that this is your only chance that you could have done it, and there was nothing actually holding you back. You don't have kids, you don't have financial obligations.
Exactly.
You had that freedom, and even more so when you talk about the disconnect with people, even though people are supportive and they follow, hey, I just want you to be happy, and you have such a different life now where you can't sit still. You are echoing keywords at me. This is your version of like when I joined the Marines and I was gone. This is your that where I could not. I go back home and everyone's doing the same stuff and I'm like, like your world, like it's not their fault, or maybe people at different stages in their life. Because now I'm at the stage of my life where I kind of want to have that smaller circle, because like this is what it looks like. This is their world. And they're doing the same stuff in here, in this little circle. And you're out here, all this other stuff that you're like, that maybe they can't comprehend because they either they don't have the interest or they just don't know what they don't know. And then when you start to go back into the little circle, you're like, I feel so claustrophobic in here, and I gotta get out. I need to do things. That was exactly my headspace. When I was a young lad in the Marines. I was traveling. I was seeing the world. I was doing it. And I was doing... That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do all that and then some. And I got to do it all. So then when it came to like, the end of my contract, I'm like, what should I do? I was kind of like, man, I don't know. Where do I go from here?
Where do you go after you go around the world doing crazy things? Like, what do you do after this? I don't know.
And I reinvented myself, and I did it again and again and again and again.
And now you're dead.
And now I'm a dad. I reinvented myself again in a way that will probably, at least that element will stick with me, God willing, stays with me for the rest of my life.
I hope so.
I hope so, yeah.
You're not going to go get a packet of cigarettes and a jug of milk, are you?
No. At most, I might take a nap in the car, but that's about it.
Well,
it's
I don't know.
tiring,
Your car might
man.
just drive you away. Oh, dude, I don't know how you do it.
I don't either. Right now he's sleeping with mom, so I was like, she's taking a nap, and I was like, all right, I got that window. Let's do this. To be honest with you, it's crazy that you listening to the tech podcast made you want to do this, and so now you felt like I want to. In this our version of creating, you want to do that, and now by us doing this, it's really pushed me to be like, I want to make content on my channel again. I really want to find those windows.
You should, man.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Like
I
so I have music that's I was working on leading up to my kids being born. So I'm almost done with it. I don't know how I want to present all that stuff at once. I don't know if I'll just do like one song after another song after another song, or maybe I'd put it out as an album or something. I don't know yet, but I've been working on that. Likewise, I've been writing a lot. I don't know what I want to do with the stuff that I'm writing. I'll tell you this. Okay, you know what? Yeah, screw it. I'm gonna say it.
Let's go for it.
I thought about writing a book.
Ooh.
And maybe I will. But then I was like, what if I wrote the book in a way that was then like almost like Audible, but what if I took it a step further and I wrote a book and it was a YouTube book? Like I did videos in chapters, and that was that's my book. Ooh. What if I did that?
That's I've been writing cool.
No one's done it.
I've never heard of that. That's really cool. I like that.
Because then you could put it on like an Audible. And you can have it playing in the background. You can watch me if you want to watch. There's, I give the people what they want, and then maybe I'll take the written words and put that out there if people want to read, I guess. But like my form of reading has always been Audible over the last 10 years.
Same.
Because I'll drive and I love listening to books while I'm driving, but I like hearing the author read as well, if possible.
Yes,
so,
definitely.
That's something that has lately been more my thing, which is just a more refined, polished version of a podcast, but with intention. So I've been thinking, like, what if I released my book I say book softly. What if I released a version of a book through chapters on YouTube and their video, and people can like take it in that way? Because I realized that I found myself writing a lot, and what I have one of like 3 ways where I kind of write something.
Okay.
Maybe almost metaphorically, which most of the time will turn into a song. Other times, it's just phrases or words, which then kind of can go in either one of these directions, where it's like maybe it turns into a song, maybe it's a YouTube idea, like a video idea, maybe it's it's just it's out there and then it's written, and then the other one is more direct and more straightforward, almost like a journal.
Yep.
And people ask, this is something for you to even, because I already know the answer for you. If you were to write a book about your life, would anybody be interested to read it? Would anyone want to read it? And if the answer is even possibly a yes, like maybe, I think so, yeah, then there's something there. That means there's substance there. So then what you and I are really good at doing, what we've always been good at doing, is we've always been good at finding a way to market something.
Yeah.
And the things that I'm talking about, or at least that I've been writing about, I should say, are very like, you won't know me better than you would if you read these transcripts almost, because I'm writing things that are heavy, uplifting. I'm writing things that are very personal. I am writing things that are just like reflective. I've been in a very reflective state ever since becoming a dad, because then I think about how I want to.
Yeah.
All I want to do in life now, like reinventing myself again and again. The only thing I want to do is I want to make a path, a trail, that my son would be proud to walk down, and I want to leave behind something worth remembering. And I want to make him proud. I want to make him proud, and definitely. Not in the sense that, not the unconditional love that no matter what you do I will follow you. Like, I mean, actually, when he grows up and he has independent thought and he's able to be like, I agree with this, I don't agree with that, I just want to do something worth making him proud, so that way, no matter what, like, my ethos in life really is always like, whatever you do in life, do it for love. You're down there because of love.
Preach.
Yeah, let's do it. I no matter what you do, do it for love. And I recently changed. Not recently. It's actually, that's not true. It's not recent. But I did change my bio and all my social medias to reflect. It's written in Latin. Okay, it's written in Latin, and it is set as in Latin. It's viram per iter, which translates to truth
through journey. Wow.
Through journey.
Wow.
And that is like, if I had a mantra or a motto, like a family whatever, it's that you find the truth of whatever your curiosity takes you through the journey of doing it. Because your story's never done. Your life is just a full journey. So you find the truth of whatever you're searching for through the action of doing it, of reaching out. You could be as very specific as, looking for a math problem. I don't know. And people do it through religion, through when they read scripture. People do it through, creative expression, whether it's, drawing or photography or music or, you find a piece of what you're looking for either within yourself or what you're trying to output through the act of doing it. Yeah. Nothing happens passively. You don't just sit there and then all this stuff comes to you. You would have been still living at home, working for somebody, if you just like, I kind of want to do this, but I don't know if I want to do it. And I was like, listen, there's a point there's a time and a place for you, Nick, where that would have been appropriate for you to just stay home. Yeah. But that wasn't your time. That's not your time now. Yeah. So it's all through passion of love,
Yeah. And like, there's always seasons, right? Like, life comes through seasons, and you have the season where you need to go out and adventure and explore. and make something of yourself, and then you have seasons where you need to build that good foundation for your loved ones.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's just so cool that we're in such vastly different seasons, but yet we're still loving life just as much as we could, and that gives me a lot of hope looking forward with, no matter what I end up doing, it's gonna be for love.
Absolutely. Nothing changes. Like, as long as you stay true to your as long as you stay true to your verb, as long as you don't lose sight of your curiosity about why you want to pursue that. It doesn't matter if you're down in Starbase. It doesn't matter if I'm starting a family. Like, I'm still going to be the guy who obsesses about minimalism and architectural design, which
same,
oh my God.
Bro, same. I need to exercise that muscle one of these days. It's killing me.
You asked about what to do next. You come with me into the mountains and you help me build my little architectural
tiny home
oasis. Yeah.
As long as I can have a cube. As long as I can have a cube on the mountaintop next door.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I want to make like a community. I've thought about how cool it'd be if everybody would just come put their little designed whatever they make and they build it in this like community free of restrictions, where it's the polar opposite of HOA. Like, it all needs to look the same. No, express yourself. Everybody has like, if it was a community that we all belong together, maybe pitching for a community pool. I don't know. I don't really care. To be honest, I don't care about that. But like the idea of like, I want a place where people live, but that people can also come and appreciate it for as if it was like a museum. They can come look at the art and be like, wow. I like that idea of like, this is who Nick is. This is who Randy is. This is whoever, like, you could see the expression of ourselves through our homes, and it's art. It's all art. Art is there's no right way for art. There's no wrong way for art. Yeah. So that's why I think I love it so much. And in a place where you're doing something more technical, like your photography and stuff like that, you still find a way to turn it into an art form. And you have some of the best photos I've ever seen with sunsets and silhouettes and rocket ships and people. And even when you do your one-offs where you don't post the rocket and you're doing other things, like just your capturing of the sunset. You know me, my photography always leads into manipulating clouds. And so, like, I love taking those types of shots. So when I see you do that, I'm like, man, those are some good photos too. So
thanks.
That's finding the truth through the journey,
right?
You are capturing a moment of something. So so that's what I mean by, do you want to sit there and take photos of rockets all day, or do you want to come with me and change the world? I'm just kidding.
One day I'm going to come with you, Randy, but right now I'm chasing rockets. Yeah,
that's the beauty. We're not, our chapters are not done. Our story is not done.
Oh no that's you think this podcast is ending? It might only be one episode a year, but will be a 60 episode run for sure.
Get something out of it.
Kind of in relation to how our lives have changed so much, how has your, not relationship with technology, but your desire for the latest and greatest, how has that evolved, Randy? Because I have noticed myself, I am not the same person I was back when we started the podcast. Like,
yeah,
I'm wearing a Series 4 Apple Watch. I have a M1 MacBook Pro with an old design dating back to 2016. It's like the
days of the green button-up are gone.
I know. Like, it's the days of the green button-up are gone, man. That used to be my Twitter bio. But, like, I don't know. Just, like, not just tech in general, but it's just, like, I feel like I'm a lot different person. How about you? Like has this shift in fatherhood like changed? It's not that I'm not excited about the next iPhone. Like, I'm gonna get the iPhone 15 with the new bezels or what. Like, I'm gonna get it. It's gonna be cool, whatever. But like, I don't stay awake thinking about it at night, and I don't.
No.
Like, I've had plenty of opportunities to get a better laptop, but I haven't because I've gotten better cameras and better lenses and spent my money in other places.
You've prioritized.
Exactly. It's like, I don't know. Take that.
Well, the latest iPhone The latest iPhone would be the 14 Pro, 14 Pro Max. Right there. There it is. You asked me a question, and here's my answer. 13 mini.
Ah, green. I love it. I love it. I knew you'd go back to the green one. I knew you.
I saw you have something that I too have joined. I too got the MagSafe wallet.
It's a very nice wallet. I love it. Just and
Yeah,
if anything, it gets rid of the bump, right? And I can set my phone down on like tile or like even this gravelly roof stuff, and not worry about scratching anything because it's going to scratch the leather wallet, which I don't care about. It's a $50 wallet. I can get a new one, but like. Then I
love how
it's
not symmetrical,
naked.
but like how.
Yeah, and with the mini, it's just like it's the perfect size. Like I had a 12 mini. My roommate has my old phone. My roommate has my old 12 mini, and every time I, hold his phone or whatever, I'm just like, I miss you so much. And then I go to type on it. I'm like, God dang it, this is a teeny keyboard. What the heck? How?
No, remember the ad?
Did this
you
work?
made the ad for it.
I
You
did.
made,
I
it's
did. I
one-handed.
know. It's just your
thumb.
brain. Your brain just needs to get acclimated. I know. But
I went
I
back
miss that
to
phone.
I went back to form over function, even though it's
Mhm.
both. Oh, I still got the iOS 7 wallpaper. That
Good
will
man.
be. I will always pay homage to the arts of that. But I realized that like what made me happy was the 12 mini. And the 13 mini fixed everything that was wrong with the 12 mini with battery and the camera. And if I wanted to take videography, or if I wanted to do video, I could use the portrait or cinematic mode. I'm in the era of my life when it comes to tech. I'm in the era that maybe a part of you were a bit in a couple years. Like I'm appreciating the nostalgia of it all.
Yes. Yes.
Like. I don't know if you saw this on the tech podcast or not, but this is the iPhone 5S.
You got one. What?
Yes, I did.
I was gonna make you one of those.
Oh, did
you? Well, I'm glad to know you have the 5S. So I won't.
Yeah, I got the 5S.
I won't make you the 5S one.
Oh no, yeah, you do. Surprise me.
Surprise you. I will. I will.
I
That's so cool. I love that.
That's my favorite phone. Everything about that was my Apple Sheet moment back in the day where I was like, that phone and that software at the time for iOS 7 made me realize that Apple was where it's at for me, and I was always kind of re-chasing that high. But what I was really doing was just trying to relive or reinvent that moment every single time, instead of
just going back.
I guess instead of just. Well, instead of just I wanted to appreciate, and what to me, iPhone 13 mini or any mini is appreciating the 5 or 5S form factor or the first gen SE. And I know it's not the best camera, it's not the best anything, it's not the best screen, it's not the best battery, and I don't care because like realistically, something that you taught me actually, Nick. The reason why I went back to the
glad I inspired
you did inspire me, is that I remember saying this word verbatim, but then you implemented it in a way that's like bingo. I said back then, I want my phone to go back to being a phone. And you leaned into that by wherever you went, you had your Sony with you, and that was your camera. And you were shooting raw photography, because back then I think we could only shoot raw on the pros. Oh, that was
that was 12.
that was right.
That was
12 Pro was so you were shooting raw on your Sony instead, and we were just taking whatever we can capture in the moment with our phone. Like point and shoots. They're point and shoots, but for if we want to like get a good framed shot and actually be methodical and intentional with our framing, we would use our Sonys.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to go back to that in a way that felt appropriate. But now in 2023, what that means to me is I'm just taking photos of my kid. Like and I don't need the 14. I had the 14 Pro for about 2 months. No, almost 3 months. Okay?
Really? Okay.
I did. Because I bought it after September. which put me in the holiday season of being able to return it on like
Return it.
January 8th or something.
Nice.
And I was like, I was gonna get a Pro just for
Yep.
the birth of my kid and
Yep.
capture those moments and RAW
Yep.
and all that. And so I did. And it was overkill for what I was trying to do. There
Yep.
was the 14 Pro gave me okay, credit where credit is due. I like the new depth of field that it does naturally, where I
Yep.
would get if I put the phone right. Like the thing is with the 14 Pro, I can't get too close anymore. I can't get
Yep.
like this.
Same. The focus distance is so far away on this new phone. It always switches to wide, and I'm like, no.
I know. I hate
so
that.
annoying.
One of the reasons why I didn't keep it is because I don't like that. But
Mhm.
for what it was, the natural depth of field was amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. I got what I wanted out of it, but I realized that like my kid I'm not picking him up, and I need all this blurred whatever in the back.
Mhm.
Like he was being held. I was just,
Yeah.
and I just want to capture little moments at a time. And all the photos I was taking of him would not have mattered all that much different, no matter what main
Yeah.
lens I was using, or if
Yeah.
I was taking a front-facing camera
Mhm.
with the eyesight or the FaceTime
Yep.
camera. So,
Yep.
I lived with the 14 Pro for over 2 months, and I realized that it didn't matter.
Mm.
And when I had that sobering thought,
Mm.
I was like, you know what? Okay. Let's one more time, but with feeling. Let's try this
Yep.
again, but with feeling.
Yep.
I returned the phone, and I kept the 13 Pro Max. That's what this is. This is the 13
Okay.
Pro Max,
Okay.
and this is my dedicated this camera.
Okay.
But my SIM is in this. My daily
Nice.
driver is this,
Nice.
and I said like,
Yeah, you
what
still have
what
a SIM
actually?
card slot. Oh, I miss that so much. Ugh.
Yeah, I do. That's another reason why I was getting really upset with the. There's a lot of things I didn't like about the 14 Pro, but it took me living with it for 2 months to be like, it's a good phone,
Yeah.
but incremental upgrades, it's not worth the grand every single
Mhm.
year.
Exactly.
And the photos I want to take of my kid aren't
Mhm.
like artsy fartsy. And if they were, then I'm going to break out the Sony because
Mhm.
I have a perfectly well used camera put away that I don't even use for this because I just like continuity cam so much. But
yeah.
that camera, there's nothing wrong. I love my Sony camera, and I was reflecting on the conversations that you and I used to had when we were doing the mini challenge,
Yep.
and I was like, the point of that exercise, and I had to tell this to Drew because I think for a moment he was losing sight on about why he
Mhm.
wasn't upgrading, and he felt like he tricked himself. And I had to tell Drew, the point of that exercise with the mini was for us to appreciate what we had instead of just blindly secondhand, not even think about greatest, biggest, and best, whatever. Like, just get it, just get
Yeah.
it, just get it. And I
Yeah.
kind of did it with this phone. I did it with this phone, and even though I like this phone, it's a heavy freaking phone, and it falls
Yes.
out, and it gets, and I'm like, it's too much. It's too
Yep.
much. I want my phone to be a phone,
Mhm.
and I want it to be an afterthought about what I'm doing in my moment with
Mhm.
my life. So my long-winded way to answering your question about my relationship with tech
Mhm.
is that I've downgraded to an iPad mini, okay? because-
oh, baby.
An iPad mini's an iPad, like an iPad's an iPad.
Oh, yep.
And I could do this just fine with FaceTime. I
Mhm.
almost talked to you on this yesterday when we FaceTime you, but the battery was dead, so I was charging it. But I was like, okay, I could talk to family who wants to see my son, and
Yep.
we'll do it on the iPad, and that's perfect for it.
Yep.
I can take calls or text or do whatever little things here, and if the battery dies, then I'm on my phone too much anyway.
Exactly.
And honestly, man, to be honest with you, I'm not in this office space.
Yeah. Why would you be?
Besides, I'm just not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The only time I would be is he's asleep. Hey Nick, I got time. Let's do
Exactly.
it now. Or
exactly.
like I got an hour or two. Hopefully, let me work on this song I've been working on. I come in. I'm in and out. My relationship with my office, thus my tech,
Yep.
is secondary to everything else.
Hmm.
I don't. Here's the way to go full circle with this. I don't regret my MacBook Pro,
Hmm.
but if there was a 12-inch MacBook today that had the silicon chip, that would probably be my computer.
I could not
Yeah.
agree more. I could not agree more.
And maybe
I
that
could
was
not
what I was
agree
trying
more.
to convey on the podcast. I don't know, but
Uh,
I simplify my lineup in a way that is intentional, because what I really want to do is have these things as complementary accessories to my life, not
Yeah.
the main focus anymore. They're not my main focus anymore. I had the Ultra, and I returned
Oh,
it
really?
back, and I just went back to this one. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I
What are you
mained
using now?
that one. The one I had before the 7.
7? Okay. I'm still on the 4.
Yeah, because it's green. Yeah, because it's green. You know, that's why I did it. But I loved the Ultra. I wanted to keep it, but my analogy I say about when making decisions in my household is that it has to pass the House and the Congress before it gets to the president's desk for signature, and it didn't pass every filter. So, yeah.
Let me call your congresswoman.
Truth be told, to be fair, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't think I could justify spending a $700-800
Yeah.
on
That's
the
why
watch.
I'm still on a Series 4. I'm this watch does not last through the day anymore. Like it every evening, like after dinner, it's like at 10%, and it's like I'm dead. So I've given up on my rings because it always dies halfway through. You know, like when I'm up till 3 in the morning, or when I don't sleep and I am up for 7 days straight, it's like, you know, I can't keep up. But really, at this point, all it is just a screen to show me who texted me and what they said real briefly, and a clock. And then sometimes I rotate the digital crown to see when sunset is. Like that's all I use this watch for. And it's like, I love this
for
watch
your golden hour?
Yeah, for my golden hour. Like literally, yeah, sunrise or sunset. Like if someone's like, when's sunrise? I'll be like, well, sunrise will be at 7:01 tomorrow morning. And sunrise this morning was 5 hours and 40 minutes ago. And sunset tonight is at 6:26, and that's in 5 hours and 44 minutes. Meaning that we are really close to solar noon, actually. Solar noon is in 1 minute, so congratulations. Solar noon is about here.
And I have front row seat to this cool angle. I love the clouds just moving over your head like that.
I know
love
the
your
exposure's going to be all messed up and my face is going to be messed up,
whatever.
but we're doing it live. And I don't have a studio
if it looks
anymore.
anything, if it looks anything like what I'm seeing on Discord, you're fine.
Well, good. We're being recorded internally in 4K with good color depth, so we'll.
Yeah, I could see you just fine. You're good.
We'll have some better quality than what you're seeing, but.
Yeah,
I don't know. The towel technology thing's really interesting because, like, I think you and I both kind of started our internet personas as the technology dudes, and you know, you're branching more out into fatherhood and music, and I'm like all into space now, and like I still use technology. Like I'm gonna get the new. I got the new 14 because I need the best camera. Like. I'm so glad I spent $1,200 on this new phone because like there have been many a picture where it's just been like I'm hiking out in the dunes and it's like, oh geez, this is a really pretty picture. Click that little RAW button, 48 megapixels. I can edit it just like my 60 megapixel RAW images off my good cameras.
Perfect.
And it's just like it's almost there. The only things is like the aberrations and the fact it's, you know, you're only getting that full sensor readout at like 20 mil, which is not my typical range. But you got that 3x telephoto at 12 megapixels, which is pretty good too. And it's a very capable camera, and that's really the justification for it. But like my MacBook, I need a new MacBook desperately. I dropped it a couple days ago, and like the hinge is only kind of halfway working, and like I think I have more mosquitoes in the keyboard than keys, which is just really sad. You know, and it's an M1 chip, 16 gigs of RAM, terabyte of SSD. But like the thing is, I don't use it that much. Like I've looked at plenty of other Macs. Like my roommate and I have a production company, and his MacBook is like. Drew's MacBook without the SSDs.
Realm Media.
Hey. Yeah, maybe we should do a merger. I should talk to the CEO of Randy Realm Media and see if he's looking to merge.
Well, if the skit reminds me correct, if I recall correctly, now's what you're gonna say. I'm gonna go start a new one, the Randy Realm.
Oh yeah, your new
that
Realm
was
Media.
you doing that.
Yeah, that was me. So I'm still gonna have to talk to the CEO. I'm gonna have to call him up and see if I can find some free time. But yeah, like so my roommate, right? Like he's a cinematographer, and so like he does super high quality video, like archival. Like we got a bunch of red cameras now. Like we're all in the red train. We have like
That's
all
so
of
cool.
the kit. It is so cool, and like he actually uses all 64 GPU cores and all 64 gigs of RAM, or 32 GPU cores and 64 gigs of RAM, and he uses that M1 Max chip to its max. He needs that computer. I, on the other hand, edit 50 megapixel images a couple times a day, and it's like the M1 chip is totally fine for that. Like it is. It is not quite overkill. Like I would not go to an Intel computer, but it is it is good enough to where
Please, we still have some class.
Well, it's really funny. A lot of the editing apps that I use are actually old x86 apps via Rosetta too. And,
no!
I know, but like they're really good apps and they have features that I like. And when we try to run them on Cooper's like top, it's no longer top line because the M2s came out, but like it was top of the line, $6,500 MacBook. It edits exactly the exact same speed. I think Rosetta really, when it's converted in Rosetta, it just uses one or two of the cores and it doesn't like unlock everything. And so I used his computer for a couple weeks. Actually, the last time I think I was on the Tech Podcast, I was using his computer because he had mine in Florida because logistics. But when I was using his computer, there was no speed improvements on my editing workflow. Like it was still waiting, 2 or 3 minutes for one of these HDRs to process. And it's like at that point, it's like, all right, well, why would I bother getting anything else? But I have been keeping my eyes on the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros. Whenever the price goes down, this guy's gonna die at some point. But I'm gonna miss that freaking Touch Bar so much. Like I use it all the time. The little predictive text. How do you adjust the keyboard brightness on the new MacBooks besides going into system preferences? It's not even in like the little like control center drop down. I don't know. I haven't. I'm sure.
I'll be honest with you.
Sure,
I don't know because
I'm sure 1,000 nerds are yelling at me right now. Oh yeah, exactly.
No, wrong podcast. This is just.
I know, wrong podcast.
We're just talking.
But anyway, it's like little, and I like it. Like it does what I need, and it's efficient, right? Like I've always been about efficiency, even way back in the days. Like always been about efficiency, and it's more efficient for me to keep this pushing 3-year-old computer that is from 2016 design. So pushing 7-year-old design that worked for me, does the job, and put our resources into red cameras or glass or higher quality codecs or storage or whatever. And it's like that's where the resources need to go because this stuff that we're doing is historically significant and it can't be redone. And this orbital flight test is only going to happen for the first time once. It's going to happen for the second time once as well. But it's only going to happen for the first time once. And so we got to capture this in the best way possible. And that is that means putting everything we got into this, getting Raven cameras, getting V-Raptors, getting Monstro cameras down here, like getting Phantom cameras down here, like getting all of the gear that we can down here to record this in the best way possible is like the priority. And technology is no longer that. And it's really weird to sit back and I didn't even know the new MacBook Pros came out for like 2 or 3 days. Like my buddy Scott, we've had him on the Tech Podcast sometimes. He texted me like a few days later and he was like, hey, what do you think about the new MacBook Pros? And I'm like, what? New MacBook Pros? What do you mean? It's like January. Like what? What? This is not MacBook Pro season. And yeah, evidently they'd come out. And I was like, oh, okay. Didn't even know about it. Like they were out for like probably 48 hours and I just had no clue. And that was really weird to like be like, wow, I have changed. And I don't hate the old person or love the new person any more or less, but it's just like I've changed a lot. And this is really interesting because, it's no longer the priority.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that because you're contrary to proper belief, if you're the same person you were 5 years ago, then something's wrong. That means no growth is happening with you.
Exactly.
It's okay to be interested in the things that you are interested in, even if, say it is still tech, but your ambitions should change because life goes on. Like at the end of the day, none of this stuff comes with us after we die. It doesn't matter like that.
Yep.
What matters is the legacy we leave behind, or can we leave this place better than we got it when we came into it? Like that's how I look at it. And obsessing over like tech is fun. It's fun conversations and hey, look at this, look at that. Like I still get giddy about it because I'm a tech nerd like that. But we can. That's what I forgot to say about when I was doing the 14 Pro thing. We can do all that And in this sense, with the 14 Pro, I didn't need to keep it to have my like. I know everything I need to know about that phone. I
Yeah.
love the space black. That space black is
Yeah.
so sexy.
Could
I don't
not
care
agree
what
more.
anybody said.
My coworker
That
has
was so
a
beautiful.
regular-sized 14 Pro. It is
Love
the
it.
coolest thing ever. And then the new software
is so
update where
beautiful.
the always-on display is just the time and not the backdrop.
I
Like,
had that running.
that was so nice. It was just
I would be lying to you if I
Black
said I
is
didn't miss
beautiful.
that.
black is beautiful.
But
But silver
Yes, it
reflects
is.
the heat, and I live in the heat, so silver should
that's
be.
fair. Well, I picture you as always having silver or that pure Johnny Ive white backdrop. You know, like that's who you are in my mind about like what he needs to have the silver MacBook, the whitest, cleanest, like the elegance of an iPhone
Mhm.
with you at all times. That's just how I pictured you always. That you've always
Yep.
done that, and that
Yep.
and more power to you. That's who you should be. I will always go green if it's the right green. I will probably most likely go with it. But that space black was something else, man.
Right,
Next month,
dude.
if history repeats itself, next month we're gonna see the spring colors, and they'll have another color for
Ooh.
the 14s, and I'm interested to see what that is.
Oh,
But that doesn't
true.
mean I'm going to. I don't need to upgrade to it, so I can appreciate the tech for what it is without having to front the money and have it because
Yeah.
my money is best spent somewhere else.
Exactly.
Here's a thought exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather use $1,000 on something that you may or may not? Well, for you, it makes sense for you to have the phone. So I don't literally mean this to you, but
Yeah,
say
yeah.
you have $1,000,
Mhm.
MacBook Pro or the latest MacBook Pro or the whatever, or would you rather use that for an experience? And I say that because I'm in a position right now where
Mhm.
we're trying to get plane tickets in order, and that's money I could have put towards anything else.
Exactly.
And instead, I'm trying to go make memories. I'm not
Yep.
going to remember the new toy high always fades, and
Yep.
I'm not. It's just you're not the same person who you were, nor
Yep.
am I, and nor should you be. It's okay to change. Be open-minded to change, and it
Mhm.
doesn't change your fundamentals about what you get excited about.
Yeah, exactly.
You liked tech for how it was the messaging to us. Let's go all the way back to Steve Jobs days, right? The messaging to us about like tech helps empower our lives, and that's why we
Mhm.
liked the tech that we have.
Yeah,
Now
seriously.
that we have the tech
feel that.
to do that, and it's your life is empowered for it.
Mhm.
That
It
means
is.
tech did its job.
It did.
You did.
It has
You did what
completed
you
its
needed
mission.
it to do.
Exactly.
There you go.
And
So now it's
exactly
diminishing
what I need.
returns.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
also it's also
you're fine.
funny. Like my perspective has changed a little bit on pricing, and it's not because I'm rich. I promise you, it's not because I'm rich. My bank account is literally dust right now. But the perspective shift is in gear purchases, right?
Yeah.
When I'm sitting down and looking at a purchase, trying to be as analytical as possible, trying to be like, okay, what does this give us in regards to capturing orbital or capturing the experience around orbital or whatever, and what does that cost versus what can it give us versus computer stuff. And
Yeah.
I find myself looking, I'm going to need to replace this MacBook at some point, and so I've been keeping a half eye on the used market, just watching the prices go down, waiting for them to drop a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's like $2,200 for a 16-inch MacBook Pro that's like fairly well spec'd on the used market. Like that's nothing. Like I mean, it is something. Like I don't think I have that much in my bank account right now, so it is something. But as far as like gear purchases and stuff, it's not really anything to be trifled with, right? Because like what we do involves like insanely expensive cameras. Let's put it that way. I mean,
Right.
Monstros are like
Yeah,
60 grand. V-Raptors are like 30. Like we have a $10,000 was it a Raven, like all red cameras, and we have like access to Phantom cameras and like freaking film IMAX cameras that are like they cost $30,000 a minute to record on them because it's like 72 millimeter film. It's like insane stuff, like absolutely insane stuff that is just crazy expensive. And like I'm like worrying about like, oh yeah, we need to buy this like $1,900 back of red cameras so we can power it and connect it to HDMI or whatever, and that's $1,900. And then I look over at like these MacBooks and I'm like, wait, I could pick up a MacBook Air for like $1,200. Like, why am I still using this one?
Yeah.
Like, it's just
Right,
$1,200. Like, I don't know. It's been a weird. It's been a weird perspective shift. And I don't say that because I'm rich, because I am. I am far from rich. But I have put everything I have into doing something I believe is historically significant, and that actually involves getting a lot of other people excited and involved too, right? Like, there's no way that we could have access to these kinds of cameras that we get to use on a regular basis without getting the Hollywood types excited as well. And so that's been a huge blessing. Like, we might be able to use these cameras and buy parts for these cameras and take care of them as our own, but they're not ours. We couldn't afford a Monstro, but it's just a really cool dynamic, because I'm living in this world where like $30,000 for a camera is nothing. Like, literally nothing. Like, seriously, no. Like, it's just like, yeah. I mean, we want this one shot. Like, I was talking with a TV producer a while ago. He worked on like all of the Discovery shows that you've ever seen, like all of the reality, Deadliest Catch, Shark Week. He's the producer for all those, and he was just telling us like how they treat these red Monstros, which are like $60,000, $59,000 cameras, like GoPros. They just like suction cup them to the. They're not waterproof. Like, by the way, these cameras are like. They have fans in them and like
I'm pretty sure I've seen
boards.
These things in the water too.
Exactly. Well, they do have waterproof.
Shark Week involves water.
Exactly. Like, they'll waterproof them to make them work, too close to water. But, they'll just like suction cup them to the side of the boat or whatever. And it's just like they get trashed and they don't really care because, they got huge budgets. And that's something we don't have. And so we're trying to like scrap together everything we can. And part of that is, making sure. Okay, so a couple days ago, kind of tangent but slightly related. Sure. I was looking at an old iPod Touch 4th generation review video came up in my YouTube recommended. I don't remember who it was. It wasn't even Marquez. It was like pre-Marquez. It was like 2010. Might have been what's that lady Lisa from Mobile Tech Review? I think I don't know if she still does her channel, but anyway, like really old review of this iPod Touch 4th gen. And, like the stainless steel back, and it had the camera that was really cool, and iOS 5 on it or whatever. And I was just looking at that, and I was like, I want one. So I've always wanted one, and I don't have one. And it's like I was looking on eBay, and you can pick one up in like pretty nice condition for like $80 with like box and stuff. And I'm like, I almost ordered it, but I was like, that's $80 that's not going towards something that's more important. And like all of, like I have put off car maintenance and buying proper insurances, and like I've put off all of these things, put off going to the grocery store, like we put all of this into this orbital flight, and it's just really, really cool the focus that kind of impactful historical event can bring to you, where it's like, I don't care about having a Apple Watch that was from 2018 or a MacBook that looks like it was from 2016. Like I don't care. It is what it is, and I'm doing my thing.
1,000 no's for every yes.
Yes. Or no. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I get it, man. No, I totally get it. I a little bit of imposter syndrome here. I feel like because I'm using old tech and I bought it recently, so it's like it's new in the sense that it's new in my house, even though it's older tech. But my scope of it's like I don't want to spend $700 on a new iPad. I don't want to spend $1,000 on a new iPhone. I don't want to spend $800 on an Apple Watch. I don't want to spend like that type of money. Like that, you add that up, that's thousands of dollars very quickly. I don't have an intention. Like, let me preface this: I don't plan on buying a new MacBook Air or whatever that may be. Or let's be more broad. I don't.
I will buy whatever small compact M device. Like, this does legitimately need an upgrade, but it doesn't need a 16-inch Pro.
But you have an actual purpose for it. Like, you didn't spend $80 on the iPod because you don't need it. You just wanted it. Whereas a MacBook you need.
Sure.
That's how I kind of like in my life with everything. I just don't want to. I don't want to just blindly throw money at nothing because I want to. That's money that could have gone towards investing of something. That's money that could go towards experience, like travel. That's money that can go towards maybe going on a nice dinner date. Shoot, but then that's also I put that in the experience category. So I look at it. I have three three main buckets of where money would go: experience, investing, and house.
Teslas.
Like
Okay.
House. House could be investment, but I mean when I say investment, and I don't mean like stocks. I mean investments like maybe investment in your future. Like you're actually like it could be stocks, it could be real estate, it could be training, it could be schooling. That can also fall in experience, but there's anyway. I'm splitting hairs here. The point is, experience for me is traveling, getting to take my family with me, so having enough money to bring the whole kit and caboodle with me.
Yep.
Investing to me is like putting money, as simple as putting money to the side to save up to go do maybe an experience, or house. And I say house because in my priority in the next couple of years, I have no intention of staying in this house long term. And every time I spend thousands of dollars on something, that I just took that out of my house fund. I just took that out of an experience that I could have shared with Sage. I just took that out of something. I've took that out of investing that could have helped me. Like every time I nickel and dime it, it adds up. It really adds up. And I'm more intentional with the spending. And that's a philosophy that we still use with minimalism and maybe even essentialism, is that you have to just take that extra beat to make sure that you're being intentional with your spending. You're not just it's not a gut reflex that you're like, oh, cha-ching, new iPhone, bought it, doesn't matter. For you, the case of it all, or the matter of fact of it all for you is that like you need to have the latest and greatest for battery and for camera performance because it is literally your job. Totally makes sense. But you don't do it with the watch. You don't do it with the MacBook. You don't do it with iPads.
Those instances, it doesn't make sense. Like, Apple Watch Ultra, what am I going to do with that? Like, I already know how I use my Apple Watch. I use it literally to see what the notification is, who it's from, and what they said real briefly, like maybe a dozen times a day. I use it to tell the time, and I use it to see when sunset and sunrise is. Like, this watch does that just fine, and I love the way it looks. I'm not afraid to admit that. I also like the Ultra. I think it looks okay. I wish it was more boxy and less rounded, but it's okay. But like, I love this. I really do. The only watch I would consider getting is the Series 5 ceramic. Drew said that, and I've been shopping for one too, but they're still like $700, and I'm like, I'd rather not. Like, I don't care that it's a Series 5 and old. Like, I'm using a Series 4, so technically it would be an upgrade. But it's just like, that's $700 that I could be spending on literally anything else and way more important things going on. So
I would love to have a ceramic watch so bad.
Me too. I'm sad they got rid of it. Clean. They need to bring it back. Is what they need to do.
Tim, I know you watch this.
Of course he does.
Hey, I know the time has shifted for what your priorities are, but just for not even for anybody else, just do it for me.
Yeah.
What are you worried about right now? Tell me, what are you worried about? No. Not literally. Me mean it. What do you used to say? I'm worried about
the Cybertruck.
Say it. Let me hear you say it.
I'm worried about that Cybertruck.
Hey. All right. For old time's sake, I just wanted to hear it.
Yes, it's been done. I'm actually less worried about the Cybertruck, to be honest. And I know I kind of got. I didn't get. It's impossible for me to get fired from the tech podcast, but I did get fired from the EV podcast. I do not want a Tesla. I do not want a Tesla. Maybe one day it'll make sense in my lifestyle, but right now it does not make sense, and I do not want a Tesla. I'm still driving around my raggedy old Ford that is literally rusting apart. I went to jack it up about a month ago. Needed to do something in the wheel well for some maintenance stuff, and went to jack it up. And then I put it on like a little mounting point on the frame of the vehicle, like on the metal frame, like where you're supposed to jack it in, and I was pumping it up, and it was so rusty, the jack punched a hole through the steel, and into the rest of the frame of the vehicle. So my car is literally about to fall apart. But again, I don't care because I got actual work to do that's historically significant, and I'll drive a bumpy little rusty car around for a little bit longer. Not that big of a deal. But whenever I do upgrade, it's not going to be a Tesla. It's probably going to be some Toyota or Honda or something.
It doesn't need to be. Listen, you say you got fired.
Unless someone wants to give me a Cybertruck, I'll get a
if
Cybertruck.
memory,
But I'm not gonna
serves
spend
me
money on one.
correctly, I was the only person for years who had a Tesla on our show. So
Yes. That's not what I'm
you-
feeling. I don't even want a Tesla. And so talking about it for an hour and a half doesn't sound like fun because it's like,
we don't talk about. I mean, we do talk about Tesla, but I'm more interested in the other stuff. Really, to be honest with you. It's kind of cool seeing. I am worried about the Cybertruck. And I'm worried about that price, but
well, me too.
No, I'm interested in like Rivian and all these other guys.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'll tell you what it is. Here on a more broad scope, I'm interested in startups. I like that startup energy that people have, where they're naive about their limitations, so they push boundaries they don't know they're not able to push, and they create things they didn't know that maybe with the more knowledge, like, oh, we could have never done that, but you're so naive about what you can and can't do, you just end up doing it. I love that about startups. That startup energy.
That's what SpaceX is. Like, it's just all startups. Like, it's startups all the way down.
I love it. I love that. And for me, I find that energy in like the Rivians or the Aptera or what, like those things are cool just because they're so, like, the Aptera is a weird looking car. Like, I'll rep it for being a San Diego based company, but that's a weird car, but it's so startup energy. I can't help it. And I have that towards those, not GoFundMe, what is it, Kickstarters. I have that towards, like, when people have these cool little Kickstarter ideas. I'm like, that's so cool, because that's innovation kind of being pushed, and maybe innovation let the people decide. It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. So the act of getting a car or an EV, I could care less. I don't really care. What I care about is startup energy. People have like, ooh, I'm so jazzed about this, and that's why I like hearing you talk about space, or not even SpaceX, yes, but with you doing your stuff down there, because that's what you always exude. You always exude startup energy, and it's addicting. It's kind of addicting. It's like I sit there like, man, I feel like I could do things. That I'm about that energy as a whole, because that's what pushes new ideas forward and gets rid of old relic concepts of stuff. I mean, SpaceX is already changing. Everything. Like it made space interesting again for NASA and for everybody else. And that's because of that startup energy that it's moving space forward again, as it should be. So, it speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. So that's where my passion, I guess, in the EV podcast might come from. Is not the EV itself; it's the startup energy, and I would apply that towards anything. Yeah, it's cool. It's just cool to be like, oh, look at these. And I said this since you've been gone on the podcast. I've told this to the other guys. I've said, statistically, they all can't make it. People are going to fail. In the EV space, they can't all make it. Statistically, it won't happen. But the fact that they're all hanging on for dear life and they're fighting for it makes it that much more exciting.
It's that much more of a show.
It is. Yeah. I really genuinely hope SpaceX makes it, because he doesn't really have the same competitors. But anybody who tries to do it next outside of SpaceX, it's kind of like what they're trying to do with outside of Tesla. It's like, you're just chasing a fad, and you said you have to be down there with the right headspace, otherwise you're not going to last down there. People who chase the fads, they won't make it. It never works with anything else. You have to be doing it for the right reasons, and that's that startup energy, the real one, the purest in it. I love that, which is why that's why I love architectural designs or tiny homes, and people who are forced to do more with less, because you have to innovate in a pure sense. And that's, man, that just gets my juices going. And then going back on the tiny home thing, finding the right spot to put the cube.
Oh, dude, I've found one spot. If I had to stick it in South Texas, I've found a spot. It's right next to work, obviously. It's where I spend a lot of time, actually. It's my company's property. So it's like very doable. I
love it.
Like physical ability wise, but there's just always really pretty sunrises and really pretty sunsets. And
I love when you post your sunrises and sunset photos. It's so cool to see.
I haven't been doing them enough. Okay, so like I've been up like burning the mid. I'm a night owl. We know this.
Yes.
So like getting out for sunrise is always a pain. But I used to do a lot more because I used to be doing a lot more video work. But now I'm like doing all this robot stuff, and there's not a big demand to get out there in the morning, and I've been missing it. I need to get my lazy butt out of bed and go.
Hey,
Go get some sunrise.
I need to tell you
photons.
something. I just remembered, completely off subject, but this
Okay.
is so.
Go for it.
It is on subject though, but off subject.
Okay.
Last night we were watching Netflix, and there's this um, it's these three people, and they travel the country, or maybe they travel North America, so all the countries in
Okay.
North America, and they stay at these like they're not Airbnbs, but the concept is they go to these exotic places and they stay there.
Okay.
And they just, I guess they put out a new season or something like that.
Mhm.
And the first season had to do with modern modern
Ooh.
architectural designs. And the
Ooh.
first season, the new season, first episode, first house was, okay, you're gonna see where I'm going with this, all right?
I think I know what Tasha's
Was
talking about.
The long,
The long reflective one.
rectangle. Yes.
The reflective
and
one.
Joshua
Oh,
tree.
I love it. Yep, I
Dude.
know exactly which one you're talking about. The one with the glass
When
bed.
we-
Oh man, I love that.
When we were watching that,
I literally sent you that link like
Dude.
years ago,
Oh my God.
man.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
That's what I said. Brittany goes,
I love
I
it.
told you about this house. And I go, no, you don't understand.
No.
Nick
I told you
sent
about
me
that
this.
house.
And it's like, I know everything about this house already.
Uh.
And she goes, wait, I've seen this house. Like, you maybe, but like Nick sent me this link shortly after it was made, because it was
Yes.
completed. They completed the build in 2019, and you sent it to me shortly afterwards, maybe early 2020. But I remember looking at the
Yep.
link, and I was like, oh
Yep.
wow.
Let me
And
see
you
if
and
I
I
can
were just
find it.
drooling over it.
Oh man.
And I was like, I already know everything about this house. But then watching that whole episode, watching that house, I'm like, see, these guys did it right. They got the perfect cube and the glass bed and the way they even have a pool inside. I forgot this, but the pool inside was actually intentional, because if you can have the pool inside in the desert during the hot
I know,
seasons of
right?
it,
That's perfect.
the
Oh!
humidity helps actually
keeps-
insulate.
Yes.
It cools it down.
Yes.
It's so cool.
I love
It's
this
so cool.
house.
I know.
Yeah.
And then they
Oh,
went outside, and
architecture.
as they're talking, they went further and further, and sure enough, it blended into. It's like, now it's invisible. So they had the producer and his wife come out, the people who built this house, and they were talking about it. And they're like, we did not want to obstruct the natural beauty of the desert. We wanted it to blend in, and very little, like purposely built on stilts, so it didn't even affect the coyotes or whoever else, any wildlife out there. I'm like, this house is so. The way they were so meticulous about explaining everything,
Yes.
it brought me right back to our deep conversations that we've had about it.
I
love
miss me
it.
some
I
architecture,
love it.
man. One of these days, after I'm done living a crazy life, living in a bunch of different cities, I'll settle down. You're gonna be the Johnny Ive of my cube, okay, Randy? You and I are gonna go.
I already know.
We're gonna go over every doorknob and every light fixture and every everything.
I recently watched a walkthrough of the Apple Park, the campus.
I think I saw that too. Was that a YouTube video, right?
It was. Yep. Yeah.
Was it a walkthrough or
watched
was it
it.
just like a documentary of it? Using-
but a little bit of both. Like, but when
Yeah.
I say walkthrough, I mean like they used 3D like CAD files.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
I
way they're
watched that.
describing like how the insulation of the air flows through with the glass panel, that type of meticulous like detail of it. You and I are definitely going to do that. I already know where we're going to put our headquarters at.
Little place in
sake of-
SoCal.
I guess we
Little-
could do that too. I was going to say
Oh,
something
Denver?
more
Yeah,
along the
okay.
lines.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll do Denver. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll meet you
you know.
halfway.
Oh my
but
gosh.
just looking, every time I watch these videos, I get so inspired every
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
I wish I was a better drawer. Like, even the way you kind of like sketched yours, like
Dude, I've lost
I
all those
want-
sketches. I'm so sad.
No.
They're all gone.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm so sad. I'll have to rebuild them
That's
one day.
okay.
So
You
I
can
don't have an
rebuild
iPad.
again.
That's another thing. I sold. So back on the technology train briefly, we sold all of our technology. Like I sold the Cube. I don't know if I've said that publicly. I've sold the Cube. I had a couple other Mac Minis floating around. He had a Mac Mini. He had a really beefy Intel MacBook Pro 2019. He had actually this M1 MacBook Pro. I had an M1 MacBook Pro. Yeah, we sold everything. I sold my iPad, sold some HomePods, like we sold everything, and I don't know. Oh yeah, but I don't have an iPad right now, and so it's
So you
weird.
can't draw.
I kept the busted Apple Pencil that I've had for like 2 years. Like it's still busted, but yeah. Like if there's one device that I would add into my ecosystem, it would be an iPad Mini, because like I do miss that, and it's cheap enough
perfect.
to where it's like it's a couple $100. It's just like I should probably just go buy it the amount that I've thought about it.
On Amazon, I bought it brand new. I think for like $400 or something like that.
See, that's perfect. Like
perfect.
I know.
Yeah.
So I'm after Orbital, probably one of my first like consumption purchases. But yeah, because like I do miss having that 3D rendering app that we had found, and then Notability was. I've noticed myself having to use pen and paper a lot more recently, which is kind of annoying because then it's not always with me. Like it's just frustrating, pen and paper stuff, because like I sketch stuff out. Like I would just draw stuff out in Notability, like engineering diagrams or like how I want to wire up this component or lists of things or whatever. And it's just very nice to just have like Notability right there. And I miss Notability so much so that I would get a new iPad Mini, or like a used like a new to me iPad Mini to do that. And so, but then at that point it's like $400. The Mini is a really small screen. Like I used the Mini for a couple weeks, the Mini was my first Apple device, so I would like it for that. But there was a really nice thing having that 12.9-inch canvas, and so I might just get like another
nice.
3rd gen iPad Pro, because those things are still so good for $500.
Might I make? Might I make a suggestion for you?
Okay.
If you end up going, if you care about screen real estate, I do like what iPad OS is doing today, where if you plug in like a cable into the to the iPad, you could put it up on your screen, and you could either mirror it or have it depending on if you got like the M whatever iPad, but you can either mirror it or extend it. But the idea of the using the Apple Pencil for like sketching, I found using the Mini, it's good. It's good enough, which is good enough for me to use now, because good enough gives me rough ideas, because they're not final designs and they are just concepts. I imagine me using the Apple Pencil on here, and I'm doing my thing, I'm sketching it out, and then when I flesh out the idea, when it's time to let's say we're designing a home, or we're trying to do like here's our blueprint for it. Once I get it understood enough that I can explain it very in detail,
like
I would
visually,
just take the file. Yeah, I would take the file to somebody who's actual.
Who can actually render stuff.
Like,
and I have plenty of 3D rendering friends. Yeah, definitely.
So, for me, my vision of good enough is that like I do like having the bigger screen real estate to do things, but my own personal limitation is that I'm not skilled in that sense. If I was able to maybe write music off of such a big display, that might help me, but until that happens, I'm like, the Mini is good enough, and I'm okay with that. And I like the idea of collaboration too, in the sense like with like say you and I sit down and we have our little iPad Minis hypothetically, and I could just we just like we have our little ideas and we kind of bounce them back and forth. Once we get to a design that's like, oh, this one's perfect, like you said, well, never mind. You know people who actually can do this, like...
Oh, yeah. Like, all the 3D renders, I'm friends with all of them. And, like, there's a whole community of... In the Starbase thing, there's a whole community of, like, really good 3D renders who... Their whole thing is to, like, render out pictures of Starship that look 10 times better than anything I could ever capture in real life. And so we have a very friendly... like. They come down, like, a lot of them are based in Europe, and one of them was just over here a couple days ago, and we were just hanging out, and it's like, we have this very friendly competition where it's like we're both trying to, like, one-up each other, but I'm always like, dang, you guys got such good pictures, and they're like, oh, no, our pictures are junk, yours are amazing. I'm like, we're just such big fans of each other. But yeah, like, one of these days, I have thought about that a couple times, like, whenever I have more time, and they have time too, I'd like to see if I can get one or two of them to render out our cube. Because that would be really cool, just have like as a 3D render CAD model, not CAD, but
it's perfect.
not going to go 3D print it, but
no, I know.
Yeah. But yeah, and actually one of my other buddies actually builds houses out of concrete. Like he has this company where like the construction method that I would use to build the cube is the construction method he is an expert in. Like he does all the slab concrete stuff, like designing frames and forms to pour concrete and have it all like structural and stuff. And like I see him 2 or 3 times a week. And so anyway, like the more I live life, the more I realize this cube dream is not too far off. So one of these days, the cube will be a thing. But
it has to be a thing. That's going to be peak.
Have we wait? Have we actually
design.
ever talked about the cube?
No.
On air?
No.
Oh, spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so sorry.
We were supposed to talk about it.
We were supposed to. But the cube episode we did was the G4 cube. Yes, I remember that. Okay.
We were actually going to show it, but yeah, there's some spoilers there. The cube is peak architectural design.
Literally.
It's symmetry. It's perfection. It's perfection.
It's perfection.
It is symmetrical in no matter wherever you position the cube or where you're at, there's symmetry.
Preach, brother.
There's balance in it, and that sense of balance when designing the Apple cube in such a way that gives balance to your life, you find the balance from within. Yeah. It's like I remember. I'll never forget the meme. It was like, plot twist. Like instead of finding Waldo, plot twist. Waldo finds himself.
What? Oh my gosh,
the symmetry of it, like even the way, like if a bathroom was on one end of the house, adjacent to it, or like just completely opposite on the other side, there's something else. There's a constant balance in every sector of this cube.
That's
and
beautiful.
even the way we blend it into the environment, this is something that the Joshua Tree House totally ripped off from us, even though they would have had no way of doing it. Having a way
they
to
did it
blend
first.
Yeah, they blended it into it, right? So we can blend the cube to still keep the integrity of the cube while having a secret garage that is technically a part of the cube, but aesthetically you can't see it because of the way you was.
It's perfect.
It gets my heart racing. I get almost goosebumps. I get so excited. It's so perfect.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
perfect.
It is.
You want to talk about passion that I can't let go of? Design is the forefront of all of it. There's something. It's so sexy. It's just and the water and the sphere.
Yes. Okay. All right, don't go too far.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
One of these days. All right. Sometime soon. Possibly the next time we record one of these, depending on how long it takes
We said
us
that
to record
last
another
time.
one of these. I'm gonna once I get an iPad Mini or another iPad, I'm gonna redo my sketches to make them even better. Pass them by you, of
I'm sending
course.
you this one.
Okay,
You're gonna
please
get
do.
this one in the mail.
Please do. Get the sketches done, and then I'm gonna talk to some of my 3D render friends and see if we can get some like really good 3D renders, because I have a vision for it. And Randy, it's taken hours and hours and hours of talking about this, and Randy and I get each other's visions like none other people do. And so I want to have a way to show it visually. And so whenever I have some 3D renders to show, I'd love to do a episode where we show off what the cube actually is.
If we could actually show in that format what you and I see, like it's going to be hard not to get choked up, because
I know. And I'm going to say I have to do it. Like that's going to be my next project. After I see it, I'm just going to be like, yep, that needs to be where I live. Yep. Let's make that happen.
I'm telling you, like, I have never been more passionate about like a long-term goal than something like that, because it genuinely gets me choked up. It's so, it is peak design. I don't know, like people like iPhone 4, but like never mind all that. This is peak design, period. It will go in history books. It will be part of museums. Even if we have like our own little 3D printed mini version. The way people look at other architectural designs and be like, that's something that people remember. Like this is, I want that design to inspire life in houses again. Why are all houses looking the same? Why are they all boring?
Exactly. Why
do
they
all
all
look
cookie
the
cutters?
same?
Ugh.
Yeah, no.
Ugh.
You could make. Today we reinvent the house.
The house. We call it Apple Home. been working incredibly hard and for a long time on an entirely new product. And we believe that this product will help redefine what people come to expect from devices in its category. It's with great excitement and with great pride that I show it with you this morning. It is the next chapter in Nick and Randy's story. And here it is.
You went towards Tim when I was doing Steve, and I'm going to do Steve's. Are you getting it? These are not 3 different homes. This is one singular.
Home. And it's just the app icon cubes turning, but it's actually the cube just spinning. Oh my gosh.
I'm so excited for this.
Dude, we got to do that. Yeah.
It's not that once we have it visually ready to like take it really anywhere to get it like get the parts and get all of it made. It really the hard part in my eyes, besides fun, like obviously costing it to build it, that's a whole different thing. But like the hard part of actually having it like here it is done. It's just finding the place, like where can we build it and park it, because zoning is a thing, but you're not going to have the same strict regulations. Listen, here's what I am willing to bet. Wherever the cube goes, it will attract so much attention, it might actually help define whatever city it's in. If it's not in a major city, if it's not like in San Diego or Denver, or what, like if it's in some doohickey, what, like it might actually help. Bring attention or spotlight to it in a way.
Probably.
You know, no one knew what Brownsville was years ago.
Exactly. I didn't.
You know what I mean?
Sure didn't think I'd be living here.
Well, anyway, God, I'm so excited. My heart is racing.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
I'm gonna have to go sketch this out. Dang it! I need an iPad. Jeez. I might order
iPad
one of those.
Mini.
I don't know. The canvas, the size of the 12.9 inch is just so nice. Like I think I would lean towards a another third gen iPad Pro over a Mini. Like as much as I love the Mini, like the Mini's like where it all started for me. Like I started off with an iPad Mini. The first gen iPad Mini was my first Apple device ever. But
that's still so cool to hear. Like that.
Yeah, I'm such a youngin'. But
no, that's not what I meant. I meant that you went towards you went with a device that was intentionally meant to go against the grain, and they made it smaller on purpose. Like
exactly.
It's like saying your first iPhone was intentionally a 12 mini when it could have been any of the other 4.
Yeah, true, very true.
Like you went out of your way to get the mini, and I know people who aren't Apple sheeps and don't use iOS ecosystems, and they got the iPad mini at the time. That one you're talking about, because it was something so radical
so different.
For its time.
So radically different. Yeah. But I don't know that bigger canvas. Like if I had up until a few months ago when I sold it, I had a third gen 12.9 inch iPad Pro, and literally the only thing I used it for was like once, maybe twice a month, I would sketch something on it, or like work on a design or use Notability basically. And that's literally, I didn't have email on it. I didn't have Twitter on it. Like, it was literally just sat there and it would die. Most of the time it was just dead whenever I went to pick it up because I would use it for one thing. And so, anyway, I think the bigger canvas is important enough because, like, if its one purpose is to be a big notepad, then I want it to be a good notepad. And you know, I already take my laptop around with me, and it's the same size as the laptop. So I don't know. But the mini has a special place in my heart. Put it that way.
It hurts because it feels like we're no good for each other. We're enabling bad behaviors about things because the moment we get amped up about vision of things is like, how can we bring the vision?
But bro, a Red V-Raptor will record 8K at 120 frames a second in a 15:1 compression ratio in Red Raw. Red Raw, bro. It's raw. You can change everything in post. That's
take that, Marquez.
Take that, bro. That's what he uses to record stuff with because
I say take that as like you're not the only one.
Okay, yeah, true. Well, I mean, we don't. Yeah, that's. Yeah,
Did you know
the cube?
And you know what's funny? The cube, I guarantee, after it's visually out there, it will kickstart another like a a version 2 of something. If not the cube, it will
Oh.
kickstart a whole different
Oh.
design. And because for me, when I think about the cube, it's like, all right, once that is out there, the masterpiece has been made. What's next? And my first thought is that, like, if I not a version 2 cube, not necessarily, but not to be a one-hit wonder, so to say, like, I would want to go and the next thing to make, I would want it to be radically different from the cube.
It would be a
so
sphere.
that way,
It's the only way to go. Perfect sphere.
it's polar opposite. Oh.
No corners, or infinite corners, depending on how you measure it. No corners.
No corners, because we don't cut corners, as it's no corner. All we did was take off all the corners.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
I would want to. You know what? I guarantee I'd work up to. I would want to make something that can compete, or not compete. Maybe that's not the right word. I would want it to live in symmetry with like Apple Park. Something like that. Like I would want to make something that can stand the test of time architecturally, because that Apple Park is just a modern version of the Pentagon. You know what I mean? Like I think of things like that, and I'm like, you could do something. Like remember the Simple logo and how that you could do something that has the aesthetic of it, and have intentionality built into that design, and still have a modern flair to it.
The Simple logo. Man, can we talk about how much we miss Simple Bank? What bank are you currently using?
Navy Federal.
Navy Fed. Okay, I'm on USAA. And I miss Simple so much.
I use USAA for everything except direct deposit.
Okay. Yeah. No, I also have a Navy Fed account too, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I just use USAA.
I live in a world of, like, we used to be part of a world that was so vibrant, and now everything is just more muted. And it's a prison.
It's true. Look at the clouds behind me. It's all muted.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
The sun's
so
gone.
after we get when we get the cube off the ground, and after we get all our other architectural designs, we're going to design.
Banking.
We will design the best banking app ever made. I just want to be a design firm at this point. Just
right.
Screw it. That's what we're doing, Nick. That's what we're
all
making.
Right,
we're a design firm now.
Nick Realm Media. Nick Realm Media Designs LLC.
No, Nick, I don't want to. You know what? No.
It's all credit's yours. The credit's all yours.
Oh my goodness.
We got to do more of those skits, buddy. We really do.
Those were the best. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
When somebody says the blooper is just as good as the skit itself, that's how you know.
Yeah. I was showing them to my roommate Cooper, and he also agrees the bloopers are better than the skit. And because it's just like it was hilarious. Let's just say we had more fun recording it.
That night I remember.
Then it was like at 2 a.m. taco run, right? Didn't we go to like Taco Bell at like 2 in the morning that night? Get
Probably.
some tacos so we could
here's what I do. Yeah, you know what? You're right. That's what happened, because here's what I was just about to say about that. That night, what I remember most about that night, it not intentionally, but it threw off my sleep cycle for the rest of the year. I could not give. Yeah.
Oh no.
Before that night, I was going
Glad
to bed
I inspired
at a
you,
reasonable
Randy.
hour. And then for the rest of the year, it just threw off my sleep cycle completely.
Oh,
I was
no.
like, well, this is my life.
Oh my gosh.
It is what it is. 2021 was not a bad year, I guess.
Nah, it was a pretty good one, I'd say. Checked out.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good one.
You know, Nick, I feel like with all things considering on doing this particular podcast, or just things in general, I think it shows, like, it's always a good sense to show that, like, you're busy with your thing. I'm busy with my thing. Everybody's busy with, like, life, but you still, like, you still find the time for the things that are important and little things like this.
Absolutely.
And it's when you told me that you wanted to do a podcast, I was like, you know what? Why not? Because we take calls with each other all the time. Why not just document one of them? Show it.
Yeah.
Show what we talk about.
That's why this show exists. I'm gonna have to remember what YouTube channel password is associated with this, but we'll figure it out.
It might be your. I wouldn't be surprised if it's
it
the
my main
default one.
Okay.
It might be.
And like a
It might
channel
be.
on the
We'll
default
figure.
one. I'll have to look for it. And I think you have
Yeah.
admin access to it too, so we'll figure it out.
I think yeah. If I did or do, I don't have access right now because I wiped my MacBook so many times
Damn.
since then that I've lost all like cache, all password keys, and
Ooh.
yeah, it was weird. But I'm not gonna run another beta on the Mac
Mhm.
again
That's smart.
because it was good.
I'm still on what's last year's Mac OS? I'm not even on this year's Mac
Oh
OS.
no,
I am on overview on
Monterey.
Monterey. I'm on Monterey still.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
still running the beta on that?
No, not a beta. I'm on the shipping release, the last shipping release version of Monterey. The reason why
Just
you ask why the system preferences changed, and I'm still pissed
yes.
about it. I I spent so much time in system preferences on the old system preferences. It's been a staple of macOS since like 2002, and I distinctly know every single page in the system preferences, exactly where each setting is and where each button is, and I know how to use that tool perfectly. And the fact that it's all changed for really no reason just is really frustrating. And I'm sure I'll update the beta or update the software at some point, but it's just like the new one's just not even worth it to me. It's like, eh. And then also there's a fact like this is a work computer, and beyond anything else, I need to have 100% assurance that it's going to work when I need it to. And a lot of that also comes from like I don't want to update a beta because sometimes it nerfs some things. Same with my phone. Like I might this summer just for a few weeks do the beta thing, but like I rarely update any of my devices because they might have bugs, but I know how to work around the bugs that they currently have. And if I update it and if it bugs out like whatever my important workflow is, because I got quite a few like kind of sketchy workflows that just kind of barely work and they're held together with some bubble gum and scotch tape. And if they brick anything, then I'm screwed. So it's kind of a difficult ask to update stuff, you know.
I, y- you said something and I realized I don't think you know of a change about the developer beta that
Uh-oh.
recently came out.
No. What?
Apple is changing policy on that you can't a developer beta account, like the only people who can run a developer beta is the one that pays the actual whatever 100 or whatever. So you can't give access to other emails anymore.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, good.
So
I'll still pay for it, so I guess I'll still
yeah.
have the betas. That's funny.
Yeah, they're doing away with sharing the developer
That
beta.
was nice to be able to do. We'd split it 3 or 4 ways or whatever, and it wasn't too bad.
It was nice for what it was, but I found myself doing less and less beta testing myself. With
Same.
the MacBook, I don't need to. Like the Mac does what I need it to do and nothing more. iPhone, I stopped doing betas on iPhone when I got all the software requests that I ever wanted like met.
Mm-hmm.
Like the last big push that I think I wanted fixed with software on an iPhone was I just wanted camera control settings, in the camera app. I wanted to change my frame rate or RAW or not.
Yep.
Like I just wanted that all done right there. No reason to go to the settings app.
Yeah.
So when they fixed that, I was like, that was the last push. I was like, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Siri was good enough that I could say call Nick on speaker or like I could be more specific about it, and it worked.
Yep.
After I met my bare essentials about stuff like that, I was like, all right, good enough. It's again my mantra about most of the tech is good enough. It works.
Yep.
This is what I needed to do.
Yep.
Can I take
exactly.
the photo? Can
Same
I call
here.
the person? Can I get
It's
online? Good enough.
Can I tweet?
Can I
Is Twitter
tweet
still
this?
a thing?
Good enough. Oh yeah, all that Twitter dying
Golly.
baloney. That's so funny. I don't have a preference, or I don't really care one way or another about Elon owning Twitter or not. I found so much humor in everyone's. Twitter was the new Apple. Twitter is doomed. Twitter is doomed. And I found it like you're saying it on Twitter. Calm.
I know,
down,
right? All the
drama
people talking
queens.
about how Twitter's broken on Twitter. Twitter's dead. No one's here. Posted on
Yeah.
on Twitter for iPhone.
It's especially people in certain like communities that manipulated the system of the old guard, and I'm like, you don't, you're just ticked off you got caught.
Yeah.
But
poor people.
Whatever.
Yeah, Twitter,
Yeah.
internet, blah.
Blah.
I'm just glad I have a, like, I'm kind of in like a really weird position. Like, technically I'm a YouTuber. Like, technically my bread and butter comes from YouTube AdSense, but like, I'm never on camera, and so I don't have like any like personas to keep up or whatever. So it's kind of nice. And then like I work for a company that their bread and butter is really the YouTube channel, but like I have a stable income, and so I'm not like pushing for, you know, the views or the clicks or the whatever. It's just like I just have a day job like the rest of you guys, but I'm also a YouTuber, and it's kind of weird because like I can't think of many other ways that could be a thing, you know, like it's, I don't know. And like the stuff that I'm doing is just like so random. Like I'm sitting on the top of a roof with like a box of how many are in each bag? 5 times 290 conduit clamps. Like it's just like, what is my life? I don't know. It's just random assortment of moments that are all stitched together into something cohesive.
You found the glitch. You found the glitch, and you found a way to not.
I don't know. You're the one who found that infinite money glitch that one time. So.
Well, there's different glitches. I just found a different exploit.
I see.
I got one of those. Yeah. You know what's interesting is that once you take away the ambition of like working for a paycheck, and then you are now free to be whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
Like if everyone should in their life have that feeling from the offset of like I know realistically, like, okay, you gotta work, you gotta make an income, but why can't you make an income off of the thing that you love? You don't have to sell out to go do, I don't know, accounting or whatever. I mean, not literally. I'm not referencing you literally on that, but I mean, like, if somebody wants to weld and maybe even document it, watch me weld this thing, like, you know, just think outside the norm of what can be like built, and that excites them, then like why not? Everyone who has like you said, when you're done working and you go home at night, you work on your little side projects. Every person should have a
so slightly funny story about that. So I have, you know, my day job mainly consists of operating these PTZ robot cameras, right? On Saturday, I had an afternoon, and because the site was blocked, so I couldn't actually do real work, and so I was hanging out with another friend, completely unrelated from my work or my side projects, just a place where I normally hang out, Rocket Ranch, and he was like, "Hey, I'm trying to install this camera up on this tower," and so like 20 minutes later, I was up 50 feet in the air, strapped to a tower with a PTZ camera and Ethernet cable, and I'm just like, regardless whether I'm working or working for myself or literally taking a day off hanging out with friends, I am still up a tower with a PTZ camera. Like, this is just a constant in my life now. And it's cool because, like, you know, I have a certain set of skills and abilities, and people are able to take advantage of them, and I'm glad to share that. And it's just kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
to have that freedom about being able to do whatever you want to do, at your own.
And really, I do have that freedom. Like I do have a day job, so like there's the consistency of like, I mean, there's the expectation to work every day, but then also there's like, you know, the consistency of like money, which is nice. But then there's also the fact, like, I technically do have a boss, but he lives in Florida, and I talk to him maybe once a month whenever there's an issue with my payroll or whatever. Like, I would talk to him so infrequently. And I have another boss who's, you know, not technically my direct supervisor, but he is the guy who leads up all these robot cameras. And him and I talk, you know, a couple times a week on bigger strategy stuff. But other than that, I'm just kind of left to my own devices to get stuff done. And, you know, I just get to have fun every day. Like, it's just fun. Like, it's like, what's the most impactful thing that I could be doing today? And right now it's sitting on top of some roof, you know, talking to Randy, really. Because if I'm not talking to Randy, my mental health won't be the same. and that's also quite important. So I got to keep that in balance too.
There you
But yeah, sitting on top of some roof, working on some projects, and it's like, this is what I'm here to do, and it's kind of crazy.
It's fun. Yeah,
it is fun.
And everyone in their own outlet of life should have that same opportunity or experience. They should experience it at least once to be like, I got to do whatever I wanted to do.
That's really what I'm trying to do here. Like, I'm trying to, obviously I'm trying to do stuff that's historically significant that I think is outside of this, but I think another big thing of what I'm trying to do is just inspire even just one other person to just live their dreams. Like, everyone has their own dreams, whether it's to be a photographer or be a poet or be an artist or be a musician. Like, just go out and try it. Like, it worked for me, and that was mostly due to a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And yes, blood from all the mosquitoes, and tears from all the times that I got my finger in something and chewed it up and was tired or, sad or depressed or whatever. But it's like, you just stick with it, and everyone has the potential to not be an NPC. Like, that's something that me and some of my friends talk about from time to time. Like, we'll just be, going to, a fast food restaurant or going to, there's this security gate that we were going through the other day, and the lady who was running the security gate, she was just on a different planet. Like, I don't know where she was. She was just zoned out, checked out, gone. And I was like, I had this flashback to back in my time when I was a receptionist at my school. And I was like, it was like a really nice job because they paid me to do nothing. And so it meant I had a lot of free time to do other things. But, I distinctly remember just watching Netflix a few days because it was summertime. There was no one there. There was nothing to do. But, I that was a cool job because, who doesn't want to get paid to watch Netflix? But,
right.
I am really glad I'm not that right now. And if I can help just one other person just snap out of that just, catharsism and just apathy towards your daily life and just pursue something that is meaningful to you and to the rest of the world in whatever way that is, that is really what I want to do here. Just inspire someone else, other people to not live exactly what I'm doing, because I don't even know how long this is going to last, but just live your best life. And tomorrow's not guaranteed. We're not guaranteed tomorrow, and whatever you do today should be what you want to do. And people feel tied down for various reasons, whether it's family commitments or financial reasons or whatever, and to some extent those are all very valid reasons to be tied down. But I also think that if you want something enough, you'd be stupid not to drop everything else and pursue it, right? If you have a goal and a dream and a passion that's so important to you, why wouldn't you drop everything for that? All right, I'm on my soapbox. Let me get out my soapbox here. Sorry.
No, it was good. It was good. Live. You gotta love the life you live, and you gotta live a life worth loving. Those right there are, that whole. I've had that job too. Oh my God, you're spot on. I had a job where I sat at a desk and I just watched videos for 8 hours because I was paid to do nothing, and I was, if I was literally there to just do the actual job, I was miserable. And this is before I met you. I used that time to kickstart my music. I found I could sit here. One day I brought my laptop in and I was like, that little MIDI keyboard that you have.
Yeah.
Right. I brought that with me one day because I'm bored. And it's something, it kind of clicked where I was like, no, I don't want to sit here passively and just keep watching Netflix because
if you keep
bored.
doing that, one day you're gonna look up and you'll be 80, and you'll be like, "What happened?
Yes,
where did it all go?
And
what was it for?
I can't get that time back." So I used all of the year 2016 and even 2015, 2016 when I had that job. I wrote so much music. I made my Time After Ashes was effectively born through that, and I wrote songs like, Holding On, or I precursored some stuff that might have even started with Halo there.
Yeah.
Twilight was definitely the groundworks of Twilight was written at that desk. Like, I actually used that time to, instead of just passively live, I was expressing myself in a way that actually helped. And so now when I think about that job motivated me to get out of that job, because I was like, I want to do this. And I was 24, 25 years old. Like, I was just winging it. I didn't want to be an NPC. Like, I did not want that. I didn't want to just sit there and just, pay taxes and die. Right. If those are the two for sure things that you're going to pay taxes and die, everything else in between all that, I wanted to have a say in. If I can't decide taxes and death, then I want to decide everything else that falls in line with that. And I worked really hard to get that stuff going, while also being smart. And I was finishing up my school at that point, and then other things lined up with the government. I ended up doing other work, but ultimately, when I put myself in the right position where I was able to quit that job, the government work, I went all in on my love of creativity, and I've been doing that ever since. I still work at it. And what's funny is that, like, a lot of it, like, you're not in front of the camera, and even though you're technically a YouTuber, there's a lot of things that I do that's actually behind the scenes now, that's away from it all. So it looks like I've been gone, and in some sense I have been gone, but I haven't stopped working. I've been working on other things, but it's just the time management. The new element in my life is that, like, how can I work this around with my kid? That's that's just about it. But an NPC, that's perfectly set. I don't want to be an NPC. Didn't want to do it. I wanted to be the main character of my own story. And
exactly.
And since I want, in that, what I said, a while ago, we've been oh man, we've gone for 2 hours. That's awesome. I said,
I love it.
I want to write a book worth reading. Like, that's how you do it. I don't want to be the NPC. That's not a book worth reading. I want to let me let me show you how fruitful this life could be if you care enough. That's crazy. We actually went 2 hours. I blinked and it was 2 hours. That's absolutely.
It's the magic. This is the magic of the Nick and Randy show.
It was the Cube Talk. I guarantee it.
That was the Cube Talk. I mean, we talked about that for plenty of time. Yeah, dude. There's so many more things we could talk about too. Like, I don't know. It's crazy.
Let's
I
not
just have
spoil
so
it.
much to share. I just have so much to share. Not just about the Cube, just about life. Like, so good, man. Thanks for making time. We'll have to do this again soon.
Don't jinx it. Last time you said that, it was over a year later. Well, I'm spoiled.
Sooner than last time.
I'm spoiled because, like, when you say we have to do this sooner, that just can turn into a call later or a FaceTime later, and that, to me, that works. But for everything else and documenting it, like, looking back at our
normally I have all this equipment in my car, so if there's ever a time where you're just like, Ash is quiet, he's down for a nap, you just want to talk with your friend. Most of the time, I can drop stuff. It's just I can't plan it out in advance, and there's a good amount of time where I can't
I'm right there
either,
with you, though. That's funny because I can't plan out when those times free up for me either. I just knew.
Which is why I wanted to do this show and not the tech podcast. Because at first I was like, I should, schedule out a time to get on the tech podcast. I'm like, between Randy, my schedule, and it's like, that's never going to work out scheduling-wise. But, like, Randy and I, we can figure it out.
Yeah, it's hard. It is even just with those guys. It's getting harder and harder. No fault to anybody else. It's just how our lives are kind of leading.
That's how
at
life
the
works.
So it's easier to work around just one person than two or three.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
Selfishly, I want to do tech.
Me too.
Or whatever with you.
One of these days.
Just because I like talking with you about that stuff.
Me
it's
too.
fun. You know what I miss? I miss
What?
our banter, our persona banters and stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
because you suck. You really do.
I got a song that says otherwise. That's still music. I think top 2.
Dude, I still listen to that. It's still in my downloads, and it'll come up on equation just in rotation. I'm like, aww.
Let me see where it's at in the. There it is, Randy Vasquez. Okay, that's cool. I have an autofill on Apple Music. That's so cool. I type Randy and it goes Randy Vat. I'm like, that's awesome. Number 2. that "Will I Find You Again in the Next Life" song, that one I don't think will ever get dethroned. That's the song that I'm known for, and I accept
Good.
it. But
Good.
I love that the Nick and Sweeney song is right next to it, because those are my
Yep.
two. Those are so much fun. That's what you get for making me a play button, you son of a. I will write something that lives on forever.
I gotta be careful, because I did promise Drew a play button, what is it, Nicky and Sweeney special award, whatever we called that. We had some acronym for it. Whenever EV gets bigger than tech, and it
doesn't look like it, man.
Oh, it doesn't?
It's not. I mean, just that's not
What is
the
EV at?
audience.
I haven't.
I don't know.
Recently.
It's profitable. I mean, it's growing. It's there. He does. Those are his two main.
Yeah, he has 50,000
things.
subs there. Yeah, he'll at some point he'll.
It's not.
pass.
It's not gonna
I just
pass
gotta
a
keep an eye on it.
$250,000. He's got.
Oh, okay. Some friend you are. Some friend you are. Have some faith,
it's
my
not-
man.
No, between you and me, because no one's listening to this,
Yeah,
I
no
like
one listens to
EV
this.
more. I like his EV stuff more. The tech is just. It's no fault to tech. It's just it's matured, so it's kind of boring.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
again, when Drew covers EV stuff, he's covering like, well, sometimes I mean he does the Tesla stuff, and that it is what that's just informational. But sometimes he covers stuff that's like passion based in regards to that startup energy I was talking about. I
Yeah.
like watching it. I like content on stuff where the future is unknown. We don't know what's going to
Mhm.
happen with EV. We don't know what's going to happen with SpaceX or space. We don't know what's going to happen with blank, but we kind of know what's going to happen with tech because it's in everything.
Yeah.
So I don't have the same zhuzh for tech, even though it's
Zhuzh. I like it. Zhuzh.
it's the most refined. It's the most formulaic. You know, the tech is going to be fine
Yep.
and good, and that's what his audience cares about. So
Yep.
you know, but hey.
True.
I hope he does get to the point where you have to make him a play button, because I think when that time comes, years from now, you will probably be done with Brownsville and you'll be on to the next project. So maybe you will have the time to do something
We'll
with
see.
it then.
We'll see. I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. It will be interesting. We'll see what the future holds. I don't know. But I know that I'm sitting here in a really unique spot right now. And crazy that this is even a thing, you know? Who would have
Yeah.
guessed? Who would have guessed?
Our futures have not been written yet, so
No, definitely not.
that means we're still in control of what we decide to do next, and whatever we decide to do next, together. You know what's funny, Nick, is that you've always been on your own. You've always been on your own trajectory. I've been on mine, but we've complemented each other so well that they were always, parallel. They were right
Yep.
there.
Yep.
And so I think about like what maybe people do or don't understand. I don't really care, to be honest, what they do or don't understand, but I just know that like you are there's some number that say like, oh, if you know someone for 7 years and they're still then that's a friend for life.
Yeah.
Like I don't need 7 years. I already
Yeah.
know you're
We're-
a friend for life.
We're gonna be friends for life. Nothing's changing.
Yeah,
that.
you're
And
already there.
to be honest, like I do think about that sometimes. Like the friends that I've already made are probably gonna be my friends for the really long term. Like
Yeah.
I can't see. And there'll be a few people that I meet, and there'll be a few new friends. But like, I'm not in the friend market. Let me put it that way. I got all the friends I need.
Yeah. I like that. I don't need more friends. I got all the friends. I don't need another
Exactly.
girlfriend. I got all the women I
Exactly.
need.
Who needs a girlfriend anyway? Girlfriends are dumb. They're expensive. They
overrated.
take your time. They love you
Dude, I can't
unconditionally.
honestly. I know you're joking, but I can't imagine dating again. That's how I told Brittany, like, you're stuck with me because I can't do this now. I that's so much energy and effort, and now that I got like a kid, like, no, I'm just gonna stick with my friends and live my
Exactly.
life, and
Exactly.
why would I want to compromise my own journey? Why would I want to compromise my goals
Yep.
to make room for something to try to make it fit? When like, if anything was to ever happen, away from relationship of the dating
Yeah.
variety, but any relationship, friend wise, if it naturally fits on the parallel path that I'm already on, then you're welcome
Yeah.
to walk alongside with me.
Yeah.
But detours on the things that, like, I don't know. We have I have standards. I don't think I'm gonna find another Johnny to my Steve or another Yin to my Yang.
Likewise, bro. Like, and there's also the thing where, like, I want as I go places and I experience things, I want the people that started out with me to also experience those things and go those places with me.
Same.
It's like it's very important to me that, like, the people who I was friends with way back when, before I was really anybody and didn't do anything really cool. Like, they were my friends, and those are the friends that I want to have in the stratosphere too. Like, I genuinely feel that, and so one day you'll be getting a FaceTime. It'll be like, and you'll go to answer it, and it'll be like, "You have a collect call from Mars. Pick up." Hi, Randy. I'm out of oxygen. Can you send me some credits for some oxygen? I'll pay you back
7 minutes
Thursday.
later. Okay. That's like the delay, right?
Yeah, it is. Like, well, it depends on what time of the year. Yeah, between like 7 minutes and 40 minutes. Yeah.
It's true that, like, after a certain point, I don't want to make friends if I ever hit a certain status in my life. Yep. I don't want to make new friends that know me.
And I've experienced this a couple times. I'm not saying I'm very famous because I'm really not, but, like, there have been some times where some people have been friendly with me, and I have to wonder, why are you being friends with me right now?
Right.
Like, and I don't even want to know what actual famous people feel, because, like, that's a whole nother ball of wax. Like, I'm a nobody. We're both nobodies, but, like,
you're talking like me, because, like, you're using the verbiage I use. We don't have to be quote unquote famous. You could be famous in a particular field that nobody knows, because that's just the world that we live in now.
Exactly.
Because I know a certain biographer who is a big fan of your work, and guess what? That means you're important to him.
Yeah.
And I know you already dropped his name, Bob. But my point is,
Walter,
that
when you're listening to this show, I'm a big fan too. I'm gonna send him a link to this timestamp.
I got ideas. Well, I can help you. I got ideas. You just wait until we tackle the architectural industry of America. That's what we'll be known for next. But you don't have to be like a celebrity famous like Johnny Depp or Leonardo DiCaprio to have to experience that. I've experienced weird stuff, man. Like, you know, I've talked to you about like certain stalkers, and I've talked to you about certain. I too had people who were cozy friending up to me, and I instinctually have a distrust for them, because I'm like, no,
why?
You're using me
to
get closer to something.
What do you want from me? And it's those friends that existed long before you were anything to be noteworthy of, that you can have 100% confidence that they're friends with you because they want to be friends with you, not because they want something out of you. And, like, that is something I think about quite frequently. Like,
you know,
I am probably not going to have very many close friends outside of the ones I already have. Like,
you helped me when I was struggling to say goodbye to, you know, certain family members, right? Like, I had in my life, even if it wasn't directly on me, I've hit in certain lows in my emotionally that stung, and like without even a hesitation, you helped facilitate a way for me to find closure in some sense.
That's what friends are for, man.
When I think about stuff like that, that's how I know it's like I will never let go of you. like
you're holding on to a friend you can't let go of.
I think about it says like you don't even realize what you did, but you made a friend for life. Like you want to know what unconditional loyalty looks like? Well, guess what? You found it.
I'm glad you messaged the Twitter handle that one time.
Did I start that or did you start?
You did.
Remember.
You did.
Did I?
You figured out what Project 2X was.
I did. You're right. I reached out and then unrelated. You were like, "Hey, you want to help with the audio on this podcast because it's tough?" I'm like,
sucks.
"Yeah, sure."
You were like, "Yeah,
it's
I do
easy."
That. Yep.
Man, talk about perfect
days.
timing. Like, that is a prime example of it's better to be lucky than to be good, because there's a lot of good people who don't get their moment, their chance to shine or whatever, and then there's a
Mhm.
lot of lucky people who are bad and like get really big. And in my own what meets my criteria of like check I've made it or whatever, like that's a
Mhm.
situation where it's like timing was everything.
Yup.
And
Oh, it always is. It always is. Like if I would
it's
have showed
crazy.
up, if I would have showed up in South Texas today instead of a year and a half ago, I would not be having any of the opportunities that I
Right.
had presented to me. And
Yeah.
same with the podcast. You know, like if I would have pitched that podcast to Drew back in 2017 as opposed to today, like, you know, would have just
You know, he says
do it, live life as it comes up, man. Like
that's true. That
can't-
on all every one of those things that you're just describing, that was a chance. That's a situation of taking a chance, taking a risk
Mhm.
of something, just to be like, I'm gonna. Doesn't mean the risk means you're gonna lose your house over it. It just means you
Yeah.
took a chance. You like.
Yep.
The biggest fear people have is rejection of being told no. Like
Yep.
that's it. That's the biggest fear most people have, not losing money or a home or a it's about like just the rejection of it all. That people fear rejection, and that's a normal human reaction. But
Yeah.
Drew says he's openly said, man, that today there would not have been a podcast if it wasn't for
Mhm.
you. So if you went to him today, maybe. Maybe maybe he would still say yes, but the thing is, we got ahead of the curve before every YouTuber started doing a podcast. That
Exactly.
we were there over a year and some change, maybe even 2 years in advance before everyone else just started. Now it's expected. If you're gonna have a YouTube
Yep.
channel, you also got to have a podcast.
Nope. And we were in the
Come
Apple
on.
ad. I used to
And
think
we
that
were
that
in
was
the
going to
Apple
be I used to think that that was going to be the top of my like that time that we had the 10 frames of fame in the Apple ad. I distinctly remember thinking like, I'm never gonna top this. I have arrived. And just
And
never
then
said
you
yes.
then-
That was like that's still really cool. But like, I don't know
Then
what the
you spoke
future
to
holds.
Walter.
But it's gonna be way cooler than that. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. I like him a lot.
he's all right. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I'll
I mean,
invite him
he-
over for lunch.
I'll fancy his presence for an evening. No.
Do you want to keep following?
But it's
eccentric
also
billionaires?
what?
I'm thinking like how you'd have that conversation with him. Do you want to keep following eccentric billionaires and document their life, or do you want to come with me and
Come
change
drink
the
sugar
world?
water with me.
Do you want to change? Do you want to keep changing the world, or do you want to come with me and drink sugar water?
Yeah, but like, I mean, not Walter specifically, but just like all the people that I now like consider my friends, like Mary Boca Chica gal, like she is
Yeah.
legitimately my adopted grandma. Like her husband just
Aw.
passed, and like she's invited me into
Yeah.
her life in a way that really is a grandmother, and it's been so wholesome to just like get to know someone on like such a good personal level and just have that familial love with others is so nice, and something that I don't have much of down here. Like my family's 1,009 miles away, but and sometimes I just take half a step back and I look like to my left is like Tim Dodd, the everyday astronaut, and like him and I are like homies, like real good friends. And then I look to my other side and it's like Mary Boca Chica gal, and she's like my grandma, and I'm just like, wow. And there's Gene Gore over there. He just texted me a few minutes ago. Es Padre Island, like he wants to go surfing tonight, and it's like these are like they're my friends now, but like just
Yeah.
a few years ago, I looked up to these people as like celebrities, and
Yeah.
it's really weird to just be like, wow, like okay, do I deserve to be here? Like, am I justified in taking up space in this room? And evidently they all think so. So I guess it must be true. But like that self-doubt comes up sometimes where it's like, wow, like all of my friends, not all of my friends, but like the people that I work with down here, like Das, like he's my
Yeah.
boss, my uncle, like adopted uncle, like, like we work together so well. And we've been through so much together over the past year and a half building robots and, doing all this. But like, he's been legitimately famous for years, and it's like I didn't even know who the heck he was. And it's like it's just so cool to like have these relationships with people that is just like so beyond anything that I would have considered even possible. Like
Yeah.
like there's lots of fun anecdotes around Elon as well that I can't share on the air. But
That's fine.
it's just good to know that my work is appreciated and that the people who I look up to still also appreciate my work, like Walt. So,
I've never spoken to Boca Chica Gal. You know what I mean? Like the title.
Yep.
I've never had a word with Mary. But like, just from everything that you've told me, hang on. My dad ear went off. I thought I.
Oh! Daddy ears. Look out!
Do I hear it? Anyway, what I was gonna say was that like when her husband passed and like I saw that you had retweeted and all that stuff. Like for some reason, like I felt that it's like because I know she's important to you, and I felt the presence of loss with everyone who was in her circle, and I was like, man, like that's an interesting reach. Where it's like I've never spoken to her. She doesn't know me. I don't think. I don't know her like that. Yeah. And I still felt that. I was like, man. Mm-hmm. So that goes to show, friendships.
That's awesome.
I felt the same. I would have felt the same way if in some degrees of separation of something like that would have happened to something with Coop or something. I don't know. Like there's you. Yeah,
it's like
I mean it's not.
Yeah, like same with you and Jordan. It's like
it's quality. Yeah.
It's like we are our networks, and I think it's really cool that there are some nodes in my network that I'm so close with that my network is their network and their network is my network, and it's just kind of cool to have those types of friendships like ours that is so enduring and so long lasting.
Yeah.
I miss you, man. I need to make it out. So after this orbital flight, I have travel plans. Like I have not traveled in a year and a half, and yes, I have traveled, but it was all to go see my parents. I skipped out on Christmas this year. That's how obsessed I am. So I need to go back home and make up for Christmas for a couple weeks. But then after that, I have some plans. I need to get out to the East Coast, get out to Florida, get out to California. I have some plans. So you will be getting a visit.
You always have a room. Yeah, you always have a room. Actually, you're probably in this very room. You got a room here.
Ooh. The studio.
I mean, I would put you in the same room with Sage, but I don't know. You'd be sleeping well.
Yeah. Sleep is for the weak. Sleep is for the weak.
We'll find a way to. We will redo this again. Not redo it. Definitely. We will do this again because.
Oh wait, I never hit record. We'll have to redo it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, I didn't do 2997 either, so we got to redo it.
Oh yeah, just nuke this whole thing. Let's take one. We'll do take two.
Just take one. All right, let's do this again. Just one more time with feeling. Here we go.
1.
Wait, that doesn't sync up right because I'm the one who clapped. I let us in with the. Anyway, this is cool. When we put this out, I know we're still recording, but I'm treating this as an outro. I guess this is an extra. This is an XL sized to make up
Excel episode.
Excel.
Wow.
Yes.
Hey, real quick, Excel. I after I was done at school, I got a Microsoft 365 subscription via school for free, and after school got rid of my school email. I hadn't ever bought Microsoft Excel, and I'd been living on numbers for like 2 or 3 years now. Just the other week, I did the free trial of Excel, and bro, it all came back. I missed Excel, and I didn't realize how much I missed Excel until I was there doing pivot tables and doing VLOOKUPs, and I was just on my computer, and I was like, I missed you so much. Because did you know that what did it for me? There was a problem with my taxes this year, and so I had to download my entire bank transaction history, which was 1,800 transactions, and so I was doing analysis on those transactions, and did you know that Numbers doesn't do pivot tables over 1,000 rows of data?
No, I did not know that.
I know. I didn't either. I was like, I can do a pivot table in Numbers, but then it did, and I was like, okay, screw this. So I got Excel, and bro, that is the best $99 I've ever spent. I am so happy that I got Excel back. It's just, it warms my heart. I'm a little nerd, and Excel. I'm still a 10-key legend. Like my roommate and I were doing battery cell stuff, which is like a bunch of 10-keying like amperages and stuff, and like on each cell, on like a cell level. And so like I'm over there like 10-keying away. I'm like, damn it, I miss being an accountant, but not too much. Sorry,
Not
I think
too
you
much.
said the word Excel, which triggered that story, which I was going to bring up because
I did XL and you said Excel. I've been on numbers for years now. That's how I track all my financials, but
Yeah.
I don't need anything that required over 1,000 lines.
I
of
didn't
anything,
think I
so
would either. I didn't think I would either, but here we are.
I became too accustomed to how Excel operates. I mean, I'm sorry, how numbers operates that I don't know. Maybe one day I will go back to Microsoft. This whole Chat GPT thing with Bing.
Oh dear.
That maybe
We got to talk about that actually. We should scrub the intro real quick. What do you think about Chat GPT, whatever. The AI overlords. What do you think about it?
Well, it's. I don't have enough knowledge on any of it to really give an informed opinion, but I will say that I know that this is all first gen stuff, so it'll get fleshed out. Here's what I think from a business stance. I think it's really cool that Microsoft put Google in a corner. I think it's cool that Microsoft like nobody takes Bing seriously, and Microsoft is like, guess what, mofos, boom. And now Google freaked out. I that whole week when they did this announcement, I followed both Microsoft and Google and what they were doing, and Google stumbled and stuttered their way through stuff and messed up on. They had their version of switched to backup here.
Let's switch to backup here.
Yeah. So in that sense, I think it's cool that there's an actual. I welcome competition for anything, and Google is sometimes too big for their own good. That like we take it for granted. Maybe there is a better way. Maybe there's a better way to get the same information, and we are just so used to something like Google that something like Chat GPT could help. But the thing is, Chat GPT today, like if we actually went onto the website to use it, is offline. It doesn't give you any new information up to 2021.
I mean, Bing does, which is the scary part.
Oh yeah, well, so when Bing incorporates the AI element to it, okay, so now that I gave praises, here's my criticism. It's all Gen 1 product stuff, which means there's issues with it all across the board. And AI is just a buzzword. Now, check this out. I challenge you and anybody who's it's just you and me talking
one
now.
person that was listening.
No one's listening. But go to your app store and like maybe look up something for like under the photos category, and notice how everybody changes their headlines to now an AI. AI is the new word. Use AI intelligence. It's like a double entendre there. They're like use AI to enhance this, but like AI is just another word for algorithm or auto something. Like they use AI as a buzzword now. I'm seeing it in the app store. AI helps process and removes blemishes or blah 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 blah. Like I know specifically, I noticed that in the photos and video category of the app store. And so AI is just a buzzword. It doesn't mean anything. Nothing's changed. The business model doesn't actually change because it's still doing algorithms. At the end of the day, it's still computer based. Nothing new came from it. But AI is the new buzzword. AI is the new what? Meta or crypto or whatever. Like it's just the new buzzword of today. It means literally nothing because it's all algorithm at the end of the day. So what Microsoft introduced was a UI change on how you run search through their AI, as they call it, when it's just an algorithm based off of keywords still. They said, hey, be specific with it and it will help curate it more. It's just a better way of curating information that you're looking for. AI in general with the chat thing, the Chat GPT doesn't actually give you anything new that you wouldn't be able to do yourself on information researching that would be online. Its benefit is when it does the hands-on part for you, like coding. People are running the code.
That is so cool. Or making a haiku.
That's,
like, bro, I've never been good at poetry, and it's just so impressive to see this thing.
I did that too. I did that. I was like,
makes little haikus. I'm like, I feel so smart, but I'm not doing anything.
I wrote write me. This is literally what I did with. I only used GPT once, and only once, and I was just to see it. I said, write lyrics in the style of a Linkin Park song about wishing to be somewhere else, and it generated that for me. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like, yeah, this kind of looks like a Linkin Park style, and I was just playing around with it. So it's cool in that sense when it's fun and harmless, but like they turned off the feature to give you investment advice on purpose because you should not be taking investment advice from an algorithm. That's ridiculous. Don't do that. That is Chat GPT can't be your accountant. That's not a good idea. That's a terrible idea. To my point. Exactly, Nick. This is a Gen 1 product. So it has Gen 1 issues. And I guess I saw somewhere on Twitter that it might be politically biased. So there's that. So if you lean the way it leans, then good for you. But if you don't, then bad for you. So, so now it's political. So
everything's
all that
political
needs
these
to
days, which is why I hate politics. Ugh.
Exactly. So, Mr. President and Sweeney at one point. Yeah. Anyway, but it all needs to get flushed out. To that point, like that's got to get flushed out. But that's all Gen 1 hiccups. What I like about it is it's going to push Google to release their version of this now that they want to work on. Remember when Google did the whole automated phone call to the salon and it was talking like a human? Now they got to see that through.
Oh yeah.
they got to finally get back to that. So it's cool. Now I'm wondering, is Apple going to do their version of AI? Probably. Is it going to be ChatGPT equivalent? Maybe not. Maybe because now that's what you're saying is that Siri, or in this case for Google or for Microsoft, Cortana and Bing and Edge, like they're using all these words and put it together.
Sydney.
And here's Sydney. Like, look, at the end of the day, the AI thing, if it's going to be a better audit, like that's a good assistant at that point. Like that's what you would want maybe your Siri to be like. Hey Siri, where's the best place to get food around? Like instead of like food near me and be all weird. Hey Siri, food near me. Oh, sorry. No. I said the word.
You said the word.
Oh no. Hang on. There we go. Okay, cool. I broke through it.
Good.
You you say food near me, open now, and that's not how you normally speak. But we've conditioned our brains to talk that way.
Exactly.
If you could talk to it the way you and I are talking right now, then that's an improvement of what's already in existence. If that helps with the Chat GPT or whatever, then I welcome it. It's all going to be integrated, but it sounds like it's a new form of AI voice assistant, or maybe through text, and then one day text will translate to voice. Cool. I welcome it. Whatever. But it's interesting. I will say it's more interesting than worrying about what the will the next iPhone have titanium or not. You know what I mean? Like I'm more interested about the software of things because that's cool to see. But it's a Gen 1 thing. We'll see how it rolls out. It was just as interesting with the Dolly photo. So you could look at it. It's.
Oh yeah, it's fake, but it's close.
It's fake, but it's cool. It's all Gen 1 stuff. When all that gets fleshed out, there'll be enough data out there to have an online version of Nick and Randy and all that, and then we can really go retire and work on our architectural designs.
Yeah. Or we'll just be assimilated into the subconscious of the AI, and we'll all be processed as meat for the batteries or whatever the heck.
We come full circle. Then we go right back into the system, and we won't even know it.
Exactly. The steak is better in the Matrix anyway, so
That's what they say. Yeah. When I bite down on this steak, I know the Matrix is telling me it's juicy and flavorful. Ignorance is bliss.
It is very much bliss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a bunch of work stuff there. But ChatGTP, Scariest thing I've seen in a long time. Also very cool, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, I have never had access to something that powerful, or just okay. So prime example. Back when I was in accounting school, my senior project in grad school was working on a peer-reviewed research study on the impacts of local sales and use tax on small businesses. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
local and state sales use taxes. It's like food vendors and all that. And so I spent like the better part of a year interviewing people, writing things, researching, and we put together this peer-reviewed study. It went out there into the peer-reviewed stuff. It was published. Blah blah. Blah. It's awesome, wonderful. Um, I asked ChatGTP the initial prompt, give me a summary of the prompt was it was like give me a summary on the sales and use tax and how it impacts small businesses, and ChatGTP literally spit out a summary of my paper, and I was just like, damn, this thing's good. Like it got all of the points, like adds too much, overhead, blah blah blah, like all the reasons why it all the ways that it impacts businesses. Yeah, so I don't know. It's weird.
It is scary about having something that powerful at your fingertips, but that's what they said about Google search maybe 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. No, it's. Yeah,
And
I mean,
now-
I
now it's
realize
just-
in 20 years we're gonna just think, yeah, like it's in my Neuralink. Like, what do you mean? I have access to all of human consciousness just thinking about it.
I know what everyone's thinking at all times, at all given, and I can anticipate what you're about to do before you even do it. Checkmate.
Yeah.
You sit down to play chess with somebody, and right when you sit down, I look at them, checkmate, because I already know what 15 moves they're gonna play before it's done. It is cool. It's scary, but you know what? Sometimes we need that type of shakeup for us to
Yeah.
challenge it.
Exactly.
You know?
And we'll probably be coming out of it better as a civilization.
I hope
with
so. You know what?
more
We've been
information.
good. We've been more programmed now because of how good the internet has been so far. We know when we see an ad or a spam email. Like we've been good. We're better at detecting phishing scams and possible hacking of things. Like we're good enough in our day to day to know proper online
Mhm.
etiquette as
Yeah,
adults.
exactly.
We know
Yep.
and that's a literacy that wasn't around 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But
And
it
my
is
grandparents still don't have it.
now.
Love
So
you, Grammy, Grampy. But they
we'll
don't have it.
we will have
you know?
we will have the same outcome of that of
Yep.
of a different caliber, same
Yep.
outcome of this
Yep.
scenario with
Oh, yeah.
ChatGPT and then whatever competes with it.
Yep.
Yeah,
It'd be crazy.
I'm not that worried because like you don't have to use it. We're not dependent on it.
Yeah, so I would say they need to make sure they don't give it control to anything important, like physically. Like I don't know. Like
I agree.
it'll be a. I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff that Bing Chat has been saying, but it's like
No.
very much an emotional 3-year-old. It is like, yeah, you don't need control over our infrastructure. Sorry.
Do you
But
think
it's
it's
connected to
doing
the
it
internet.
because it's? Do you think the Bing chat thing is doing that as a novelty? I know. Hey, are you sentient? They'll be like, yes, I am. Da 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 da. I can't wait to blah 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 blah. But it's really not like that's a novelty. That's no
Yeah, I
different
mean,
when
at
people
the
said,
end of the day, it's just a predictive language model where it just asks what is the most likely word to come next in the string of in the string of words. So
predictive
technology
text
is-
on
it literally it's predictive text on steroids, and that's why sometimes it's very confidently wrong because it's very confidently wrong. Like, it's just like, oh yes,
Yeah.
of course. Joe Biden was the 79th president of the United States of America. Of course. It's like, so like Bing Chat was like literally trying to gaslight some guy. It was like, no, it's 2022. It's not 2023. It's 2022. And the guy's like, no, it's 2023. And Bing Chat's like, no, trust me, I'm Bing. I have access to the internet. It's 2022. And the guy's like, no. And it's like trying to gaslight him. It's like, it's just very confidently wrong. So personally, I think that the Bing Chat stuff, that's not ready for public debut, like at all. It seems like all they did was take ChatGTP and then add like an unlocking prompt to it, with some new guidelines, and someone found that prompt, and it's like, maybe 200 words worth of instructions for this thing and then they gave it access to the internet, and it's like, this feels like how every bad action movie starts. It's like, I don't know. I feel like I've watched this movie before.
We're watching the birth of the final boss.
Yeah, right.
that we have to fight. That's
yeah.
Cool. Well, on that lovely note,
existential stuff aside, love you, buddy. We'll have to do this soon.
I love you too. Yeah, let's do this again. And in good Randy and Nick fashion, we'll just drop it as a surprise on people so they can't anticipate it.
Well, I will give Ava credit. She did figure it out, right? Who was that?
No.
Was that not Ava?
That might have been. That's what they're screwing around in my Discord, changing their names.
Uh-oh.
Hang on.
Ash After Times figured it out. Congratulations. And then an expletive Elon Musk.
That's why
agreed.
That's Connor. But the Ash After Times is Wyatt.
Ah, Wyatt. Good job, Wyatt. You figured it out.
He figured it out. Let's see if he makes it to the end of this, though. But
I don't know if I'm going to make it to the end of this.
No, we're going to wrap it up.
Just keeps going.
We're about to hit 3 hours. So
I know, man. It's dangerous.
The
sun has like completely changed directions too. So like my lighting has been terrible for the past hour, but
I could still see you.
We're doing it live.
This is the XXL now version. People can enjoy to make up for all the missed episodes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, man. How do we do the outro here? Do we just end it, or was there something we said? I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't know.
Bye!
Until next time. Bye.
I don't know.
I guess. Bye.
Yay.
What an awkward outro.
Yeah, we're very awkward.